the thing that it always does, where it cuts everybody off, and then I can't hear you, you can't hear me. It's done that again. That's brilliant for a show where I've got to do quite a lot of
that's
talking.
good times. Yeah, no, that'll be perfect. I don't see how this can go wrong. Well, Respawn's in the plague lands of rural Virginia. I'm in the less plague lands of Maryland, and you're over outside London town somewhere, and maybe plagued, maybe not. I don't know. There's a whole series of movies about plagues around London. So I mean, and there's another one coming out soon. So we'll just assume there's just plague everywhere.
Yeah, and I have no way to mute myself, so I'm so sorry for this week's edits.
So we're not going to have this out by the time the new Anything Goes live on Tuesday. So by next Tuesday, maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Mayhapsly.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast. Dedicated in bringing you all the latest information, news, and opinions. This is the best show for new and veteran Guardians alike, where we share tips, tricks, and tools to help you succeed and enjoy playing even more. So with all that said, let me hand you over to your hosts, the Triumph Hunting Titan Nitedemon, the pink-panted pansy Peroty, and your Hunter Master Ranger, Mr. No One Respawns in Real Life!
So, welcome to the show. We have a lot to, I'd say, discuss, but more or less read at you and have Respawn react to it as the listener and ask questions. He laughs, but he knows it's true.
Live in real time, all of the information about all of the things.
So many things.
Yeah, so welcome. I am Nitedemon. Respawn is laughing hysterically in the background because he knows he's not read anything that's come out this week about Destiny. And Peroty is panicking in the other corner, knowing that he's got to read the other half to my half. So
there's no panic over here. there is the condensed version, which is 3,270 words. That is my condensed version of the TWAB they put out with some of the how we feel about all the things removed. But all the changes that are coming, all the changes, all the emblems, all the updates. Now it's going to be exciting to me because I've only sort of half read over the other piece, the giant PvP article they dropped, which I feel like if they would have done this, I don't know, 2022 maybe that would have been a good start. But I'm really curious to dig into that more because there's big changes. The question is, will anybody be around to experience them? Besides us, because we're going to be here till they turn the servers off, till the heat death of the universe. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah. We had a little blip then where you were talking and it suddenly cut out, and then it came back as I was kind of considering unplugging. I had a blip, yeah. Well, that's what I say. When we have a blip, it's me. You two are fine normally.
Come on, internet. It's just an ocean. You can get through it. It's fine.
It's just an ocean.
Just an ocean. Just a couple undersea cables. It's good.
So yeah, we had so much information dropped this week. I mean, I think it was DMG that was even joking about it on X, saying it was going to be ready here. And it's now going to be a little bit longer, and it's going to be ready here. And I'm like, oh my god, we're going to have so much to talk about. And then I didn't. Well, I mean, I should have really expected it that there was going to be the same amount in a TWAB. I don't know why they just didn't put it all in a TWAB, but put the TWAB out on the Wednesday, and then we'd all be happy. Well, some of us would be
a strong
happy.
word, but yes.
Because everybody who reads the TWAB live would have passed out due to lack of air, because they would have been trying to read all of those words, and they would have simply passed away, and there would be the streamer community gone.
And the funny thing is, right? I thought I just want to roughly see how much talking I've got to do today. So I put the whole of that PvP script into one of those chat AI things to see how long it would take the bot to read it. 45 minutes and 18 seconds for a bot to read it. Now I'm thinking they don't even have a respawn. You know, I feel like the Avengers, where they have a Hulk, we have a respawn. This is going to be a very long kind of discussion, and yeah.
I feel like I should be offended by this, but I'm not quite sure why.
Well, have you read any of the PvP update or the TWAB this week?
Have I read
Or have
anything
you
PvP
listened to
related?
people's opinions, posting little tidbits in the Discord going, I'm going to react to that?
Did you know there were 2 separate articles that they put out this week? Let's start there.
Okay,
Oh.
let's start there.
I didn't know about the articles, no. The other things, yes, I have heard people talking about things. But the articles, I didn't know anything about.
There's big changes afoot, and I think probably the best thing to do is kick it off with the Heresy Crucible update, which I'm going to take you through. So January 22nd, 2025, the Destiny 2 dev team, Crucible Strike team. So we've still got a Crucible Strike team. So that's, Joe did something right. He kept the Crucible Strike team, and they're still there, and they're still working on stuff, and they've been listening to what we've been saying. Not you, Respawn, but what normal Destiny players have been saying about.
First of all, I am normal. Second of all, I don't know why you got to point me out like that, man. Why am I being personally attacked here?
So is that the guy that's been sitting outside of my house in the suspicious-looking van?
Yes, it's somebody from the Crucible Strike team.
That makes more sense.
But what Respawn is going to be happy about, and I think a lot of people will be happy about, is a Trials of Osiris rework in Heresy. Now, it's going to come in 2 parts. There's going to be a part at the beginning, and then halfway through in Act 2, we're going to get kind of an update to the Dominion side of the game mode, because whereas Trials originally was just 3v3 battling it out, they then introduced the flag capture point, and then that seemed to be the focal point for the whole mode. It was kind of who can get to that point, or who can kind of watch over that point and take people out, or who can capture it really quickly. And I think they've kind of addressed that with what's kind of coming up. So the good thing for you, Respawn, is that they want to move away from this kind of flawless based system that they've got to go to the lighthouse. And instead, they want to kind of implement get a 7-win card and reward win streaks so that you can still go to the lighthouse. So you can have losses on a card and still go to the lighthouse as long as you get your 7 wins. So it's a bit like that card that we've got at the moment, where you get your 7 wins, but I think losses do kind of affect you to get the adept weapon, because we've got that card.
Yeah, you got to get like 3 wins
to kind of kick it off, haven't you? Yeah, you've got to kind of get like about 2 or 3 wins, and then every loss kind of will take you back 1, but it won't take you back 2 if you get 2 losses in a row. So it's a bit like that. They're kind of moving away from you have to be flawless to go to the lighthouse. They still want people to go to the lighthouse, and they want everybody to visit the lighthouse. And based on how you perform, and whether you're in a fire team or with your kind of on win streaks yourself, will determine how much loot you actually get from the chest. So if you can get to 7 wins and you pick up a specific card, because we've got about 5 or 6 cards at the moment from Trials, they're only going to be focusing on 2, and the rest of them are all just going to be taken away. So that's good news. They're just simplifying it down to you either have this card or you have this card. But then reading into it, it does look like one of the cards will turn into another card. So we can kind of get into that.
So it's basically I have the I am good and want to, be good and go to the lighthouse card, or the I'm less good, I just want to persist and go to the lighthouse card, is what it sounds like.
Sort of.
I mean, either way, that sounds like I'm not going to the lighthouse. But
No.
Of course, it wouldn't be that clear.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it sounds like there's a path to the lighthouse. So yeah, tell us how. I was hoping beyond hope it would be sort of that clear in a way, but I knew it wouldn't be. This is Bungie. We need 6 new currencies instead.
The interesting thing is that they've taken inspiration from Iron Banner, so that's good in a kind of sort of good way. I mean, this week with Iron Banner, I've been showered with loot. Every time I open up my kind of Destiny item manager, I've got like about 20 Iron Banner weapons just sitting in there, and I'm like, oh my god, where did all these come from? Just like end game rewards just kind of piling in there, and I haven't had a chance to even look at them. So if Trials can move to that kind of loot and reward system, I think, touch wood, that it might actually incentivize people to go in there, because not everybody's looking for a win to go to the lighthouse. They are just looking for the good Trials loot. They just want to get that adept weapon, or they want to kind of get a Trials like outfit, armor pieces. So there are various different people that want different things out of Trials, and I think it's been quite hard for them to kind of hone it down to what they what they could kind of change trials to, but still kind of keep like the core players that are invested in playing trials that are not cheaters still playing, and incentivize them to kind of carry on playing, and then bring in more players and players that kind of just shy away from it. So with this, they're kind of looking at multiple tiers and exclusive aesthetic rewards for higher win streaks. And they want to provide a selectable alternative experience that is closer to Iron Banner in terms of reward structure and matchmaking to get more players into the Trials ecosystem. So they're going to be adding new rewards, including an armor set, ghost shell, ship, sparrow, and emblem. And they want to simplify engagement and matchmaking systems. So they start off with this kind of the Crucible update, talking about trials, and then we kind of move into Crucible as a whole. And they're talking about skill and player score stats and competitive point system rework. So they want it to be a bit more transparent with kind of how you go into a competitive match, or you go into a trials match, where you can see your skill and you can understand it as a player and get a kind of better sense of where you're sitting up against other players, basically. And the competitive points gained should feel like they make sense and give you more agency over climbing the ranked ladder. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys are the same. I go into competitive, win one match, and then I'm kind of knocked back down about 3 matches. And I said to you, like, when I started Echoes, it put me into kind of, I think it was gold 1 or something like that. And then when I started Revenant, it put me into silver 3. And then I can't get back into gold to see if I can get like the Artifice armor. So I was confused at how that kind of system works. And by the looks of it, reading over this, that they're going to kind of restructure it so that you can understand how you're performing and how to kind of improve. And it's not going to kind of have that kind of, oh, we think you should go here. It's just purely going to be based on your skill. And they're also going to incentivize people who are already in that top bracket to go beyond that in Heresy.
It feels like that's something people have been asking for forever. Like let me actually get show me how I'm doing, tell me how I'm doing. Don't just throw me in there and say good luck.
Yeah. They're also going to reorganize the playlists. So using what they've learned over the last year, they're going to consolidate and solidify their playlist into options that better represent the experience of Destiny 2 PvP can offer, without splitting the population into too many separate slices. But then reading further onto it, we'll get to it, it looks like they are kind of still splitting it, but they're saying they're consolidating it. But it's going to be interesting to see how this kind of works. So, I mean, like, for example, they give an example to start off with. They want to introduce an Iron Banner quick play, which offers a more relaxed variant of Iron Banner, using the open skill matchmaking to provide a minimal stratification and focus on less serious game modes. But they're also still going to have another Iron Banner node next to it. So where they were saying before, where we had Iron Banner where you could go in with your kind of teams, didn't matter whether you were 2-player, 3-player, 4-player, 5 or 6, you had that node, and then they had that single player node where it was just all single players. They then took that out of it, implemented it into the Iron Banner because it's kind of, they said it split the player base. Then when we had like the drop down boxes, which wasn't there this week, there was no control or fortress. It was just fortress this week. So whatever they did last week with the eruption and splitting the Iron Banners was obviously a glitch in the matrix, because it wasn't there this week. I checked, and I was like,
because they knew nobody except for me wanted to play eruption, because they knew all the good players would see eruption and run the other direction. So they said, listen, here's your bone for those of you playing. We'll give you a game mode that nobody wants to play, so you can actually maybe have a better time at it.
But that's what's confusing, where they're saying that they, beforehand, when we've had like the splits of the Iron Banners, and we've had the same with Trials, where they split like the Trials, where you have to go in with your 2s and your 3s, and then you had a single player kind of node as well. They wanted to kind of consolidate those, but it sounds like we're now kind of still splitting player bases. But anyway, ability sandbox update. So general, the baseline Crucible ability cooldown penalty is going to be increased by 5%, so from 15 to 20%, and supers go from 20% to 25%. And I think that is across the whole sandbox for Crucible. So prismatic only, unpowered knockout melees will no longer spawn a diamond lance on kills against players. active energy refunds on Prismatic decreased by 20% in Crucible, and this affects the energy refunds from things like Gambler's Dodge, Shiver Strike, and Armor mods, but generally excludes exotic effects. And they've added a 10% cooldown penalty to supers, so that there's more trade-off to pick these subclasses in modes where the super timing can be more vital, like Trials or Competitive. So that's your overview of what's going to change across the whole of Crucible there. And now we move into Trials of Osiris. So apparently there's an elephant in the room. We're not going to talk about that. Actually, we will talk about the elephant. And no, it's
Okay.
not Respawn, as I like to
Whoa! What?
say. Oh,
You calling me
dear.
fat?
No, I'm just calling you an elephant.
You just never forget, and you're big and
Yeah.
gray.
Oh, I think we all know that I forget. The big and gray thing, debatable.
So, as Respawn has pointed out, and many players have pointed out, Trials of Osiris has serious problems that they're looking into solving with this rework. So, primarily, Trials is perceived as simply not fun or rewarding for the average to below average player. We can kind of all agree on that. It's like you go
Facts.
in and you just bang your head against a brick wall. I think even with the card where you can earn an adept weapon, you are still playing the lottery of who am I going to be matched up with? Who's going to help me kind of get that win to kind of kickstart that card off so that I can then spend the rest of the weekend trying to get those other wins. And I think that's one of the things that is it's quite hard to convince people to go and play Trials as it's just a weekend based thing. Me personally, where I enjoy Iron Banner is because Iron Banner is there for the whole week. And if I can get on during the week and I can play and I can earn my pinnacles, I can get my rank boosts, and then I can just carry on playing. I can swap over characters, whatever, and just enjoy playing the game modes. Whereas with kind of Trials, it's a lot harder to kind of get on and play those games and actually get those wins on that card because I've got a limited amount of time. And if I can't get it done in I'm very busy at the weekends. We do a podcast every weekend. I've got work. There's family. That's the time that I spend with the family. If I'm not kind of doing the podcast or I'm not working, so my time is restricted at the weekend. And the only time that I can really play Trials is on the Tuesday just before the reset. So it's a lot harder for me. So personally speaking, I would like to see Trials as a week-long event because it would give me the time to kind of go in there and not have to try and rush for like possibly 3 to 4 hours that I do on a Tuesday and actually be able to enjoy playing the game mode and get the rewards out of it. But that's something that they haven't said that they're kind of changing it to a weekly thing. It's still going to be at the weekend as far as I'm aware from reading all of this. So in terms of rewards, there has been a lack of new aesthetic rewards, especially motivational ones for high skill players. And our weapon rewards have not consistently been best in class, which we can kind of agree of. It's just, we've only just had an Iron Banner armor set, and the Iron Banner weapons, you get one and one reprised one. And I think that's quite hard for like existing Destiny players to kind of see, because where we've come from Destiny 1 into Destiny 2, Destiny 1, I think literally every time Iron Banner rolled around, there was a new armor set, there was a new weapon set, and or literally it felt like that was the case. It may not have been. It may have been every kind of 2 to 3, 4 months that we had Iron Banners, that was kind of the case. And I think where you go for like 3 or 4 Iron Banners and not actually have anything kind of new apart from one weapon and then one reprised weapon, and the same with Trials, is that you don't get a new Trials armor set, you don't get many new weapons. And I think they even kind of admit that these weapons should be best in class for is the kind of echelon of high tier PvP kind of gameplay, and you should want to go in there to get these best in class weapons and armor. So the game mode itself is not always fun to play at the high stress levels. While we have made strides to address this with the 8.1.5.3 weapon tuning and the 8.2.0 ability tuning mentioned above, they're also making some minor changes to the Dominion game mode to improve experiences. And then finally, we want to solve the issue where the fireteam-based matchmaking can make it difficult to make it play with friends. But we also need to do this in a way that it does not sacrifice the enjoyment of our solo players who make up most of the population. The solution that they've landed on needed a bit more extra time in the oven, so that's why I said it's kind of being split into two different things. So the Dominion mode part of it that's going to have changes is coming in Heresy Act 2.
And Dominion is the trials, but there's a flag to capture. That's Dominion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been Dominion for quite some time. So
yeah. I mean, as you can tell, I play every week, so I'm very up on the trials lingo and what all the modes are called. So just want to make sure that my understanding was everyone else's understanding.
Yeah, I mean, it's still going to be Trials of Osiris Dominion when it rolls back around on February 14th. So when Heresy launches on the 4th of February, we're not going to get it for, is it the first couple of weekends? Because I believe, no, it'd be the first weekend, it won't be, because I suppose they want people to be focused on the dungeon race. So that first weekend of the 7th, 8th, 9th, we're not going to have Trials, but it'll be back for that second weekend on the 14th. But it'll still be Trials of Osiris Dominion, but it won't have the kind of changes that are kind of going to go through with us here. But when it does launch on February 14th, they're going to have improved the reward story by stepping back from the requirement for flawless to earn the lion's share of rewards. Instead, they'll be focused on rewarding all players while giving exclusive aesthetic rewards to those to demonstrate the high skill. They're going to simplify how players engage with trials and streamline the matchmaking states to make it more obvious of how you're being matched with opponents. They're improving the game mode rules to encourage the focus on fighting first and zone control second, while still directing players to the point of conflict around the map and encourage aggressive play over passivity. And at the core of this rework is one mantra. We want to build a game mode that more people can enjoy with rewards on par with the endgame PvE activities. So how do we feel about that?
I've never gone into competitive ever.
No, but you've played more
Ever.
endgame PvE activities. Is this sounding like it's going to entice you to go into high-end PvP to kind of get some of these rewards?
Not really, per se. The only rewards I need in the game right now are new weapons, right? Because I have all the materials that I'm gonna need, you know? So unless they're offering like what do we used to call those weapons that were really good with the static rolls? What were they called back in the day?
Ritual weapons.
Ritual
Yeah.
weapons. So unless it's got like a ritual weapon or something, I don't really see the point, you know? Now there's PvP people that like playing PvP already, and this is an incentive for them, I guess, but not for someone like me.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a little bit of competitive here and there, especially when there's a non-sniper rifle that's available to me. Like, when the riposte was up, I was like, well, that's worth going and getting. My problem is always I'm not good enough to, sort of once I play my placement matches and get one weapon, I'm not good enough to go back in and like maintain my streak, and level high enough to get more weapons. And maybe that just also, I just don't, I don't play it that much. And it's, it's something I'd like to do, but it's like, if it's not a good experience, I'm not going to stay in that playlist. But if it's, a path to more, like I like some of the loot that's been available, I just haven't put in the time, effort, blood, sweat, tears to get some of those drops. So, I mean, I'm excited for the possibility.
Is that because it's at the weekend?
That's honestly a big piece of it. Like, there's a big piece of it where it's like, if I could hop on like go, again, like Iron Banner, if I could hop on, a Wednesday night or, a Thursday afternoon, close the laptop from work, pick up the Xbox controller and say, let me go play for an hour or two on a weekday, that would be perfect. Like, yeah, because I'm like you, the weekends, sometimes I've got time and sometimes it's like, I haven't been anywhere near an Xbox all weekend. So I would have loved to do this, but it's just not an option. Or, so maybe I can play on a Monday, but that's a Monday, much like Garfield. Everyone hates Mondays. So yeah, it's never been a great plan for me going, I'd love to do this, but I really have to like sit down and like make a plan to like, hey, I'm going to play Trials. Like, it has to be a whole thing. And even then it's like, I'm going to play Trials and have a good time with it. It's not like, oh, let's go to the lighthouse, boys. It's like, hey, want to get your face kicked in with me? Maybe we'll get some summoner rolls.
Yeah. But they are going to change how you want to play Trials. So you can choose in whichever way you want to participate. And to help simplify this, they're going to reduce the number of passages available to players from Saint 14 to 2, one for each initial experience. And I've questioned that I'm reading into this, and correct me if I'm wrong when we kind of get there. It does sound like that one of the passages does turn into a kind of a third tier of a passage, but it's obviously not one that you can pick up to start off with. So initially, we have the Lighthouse Passage, and this grants access to the fabled simulation on Mercury. The experience is like what players currently get when they are playing on a Mercy, Ferocity, or Persistence card, but their goal is to move Trials away from the flawless or bus-based system to get to 7 wins on a card, plus longest win streak system. So they say that the Lighthouse is for everybody. Respawn, we want you to go to the Lighthouse, especially with this. That's what they say here.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to utilize open skill matchmaking. So all you need to do is win 7 games on a Lighthouse
Oh, is that all
Passage.
you need? Oh.
Listen. All you need to do is win 7 games on a Lighthouse Passage, and you will earn entrance to the Lighthouse, regardless of how many losses are on that card.
Yeah, but still winning 7 though. Just
But
in
they're not
general.
taking your wins away from you.
Yeah,
I know.
just winning 7. That's like just winning 7 over a weekend. Like that's something I have done before. Like that's something I've absolutely done because like I've gotten to like 5 wins on one character, then maybe a win or 2 on another character. Where if I could say, hey, let me sit here and just play this out. Hey, I've gotten up to 4 wins on a Friday night. Okay, let me spend a couple hours on the weekend seeing if I get those couple other wins, and I don't have to sit down and do it all in one session. If it's just hey, I'm making the bar go up. Hey, I've gotten to 4. Hey, I got a 5. Hey, I matched up with a random good group of 2-stack people. Hey, we got to 6. That would keep me coming back and would give me again a path to something interesting. Some actual loot out of it, especially on the weeks where there are weapons that I really want. Because even now, I'm like, if it's a weapon I really want, again, we'll throw the summoner out there as an example. I'm like, well, I've got a couple from past years. Like, I don't going back in and getting a slightly different one. It's like that's not really appealing. But if there's a chance in an adept one, like that's enough to get me back in again on weeks where it's a weapon I care about. That's enough to make me go, well, if I have the time and can sit down and try to do it, maybe that's worth my time in Destiny versus doing something else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what Trials weapons are worth it right now? Because the weapon to get right now is in Iron Banana with the new sidearm, right? But as far as Trials goes, if you've already got a summoner, you've already got a summoner. I've already got the kill clip one, and I've already got the other one where I don't know. I got the 2 god rolls they said to get from there. But
yeah, but for your god roll, are you thinking PvE or PvP?
Well, I have one for the PvE, which is the heal kill, and then one for PvP, which I think maxes out my stability and range, like on the pull of a trigger.
Yeah,
I'd have to look. Yeah,
dynamic sway and not opening shot.
Yeah, whatever they said the PvP god roll was, I have that one, and it's fine. Don't get me wrong, but like aside from the summoner, which I'm sure a lot of people have already, what else is worth getting? Igneous Hammer, it got nerfed, right? It can't do tap anymore, I believe. It could be wrong.
Igneous Hammer, they're just going to hand me for free anyway. Why would I bother?
True. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there will be weapons that come around or new weapons they release that'll go, hey, that's something I would consider going for.
But it's not always just about the weapons. They are offering you a lot of other things. So
like what? High stat armor?
Back rubs.
Back rubs.
Back rubs.
Foot massages.
Unless I can get like high stat armor, that's also Artifice from Trials.
They don't mention Artifice, but they have. I believe that they'd already introduced high stat armor rolls in Trials.
They did, but that's why I said, and it's got to be Artifice because Trials is the pinnacle of PvP, right? If you're a PvP guy, that should be your source for Artifice armor, I would think, right?
No, it's dungeons. No, it's dungeons. It's always just dungeons.
No, that's PvE.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you. If dungeons are, the pinnacle, PvE activity for where Artifice armor comes from, it should also come from Trials. Or maybe the top ends of competitive. Like that should be your path on the PvP side. There should be a second path to it for sure.
But with the Lighthouse chest, the rewards are now going to be broken up into 2 types. And there's going to be repeatable rewards that you can earn every time you complete a Lighthouse passage and open the chest. And then there's also going to be weekly win streak rewards from 1 to 7 wins in a row, which can be earned once per week and must be true win streaks, and there are no mercies here. So it rewards you for actually getting win streaks on your card, and it will keep a track of that, obviously. So if you get like three wins in a row, and then you get a loss, and then maybe you get like 4 wins in a row the next time, it will then kind of count that you've then got the 4 wins in a row over the 3 wins, and then you can claim the rewards. So it says earning a higher tier weekly win streak will grant all lower tier weekly win streaks that you have not already claimed. So as I said, it will kind of overwrite that 3 win streak if you get the 4 win streak, but you will then still be able to claim whatever you could have got at the 1 streak, 2 streak, 3 streak, and then the 4 streak, as long as you kind of haven't claimed them previously. So earned on every Lighthouse visit until a Flawless Passage is earned, Enhancement Prisms 1 to 2, Base Trials Weapon 1, Trials Armor 1, Osirian Ciphers 3, and Ascendant Shard chance is 45%. Adept Trials Weapon chances. So this is also kind of separate to the wins. You'll have 2 chances to earn Adept Trials weapons with each Lighthouse chest. The chance for the drops depends on your highest weekly win streak and the number of wins completed as a full fire team. So I think that's 2 separate things here. So these chances are not additive, they are separate, meaning if you win 7 games as a trio and get the 3 win streak, you'll get 2 adepts from the Lighthouse chest. So if you win 1 game as a trio and get a 1 win streak, you will have a 15% chance and 30% chance for an adept. So you could still get 2 adepts, but it's based on kind of chances. And the weekly win streak is based on the longest win streak you have earned for the week, not the longest win streak on your passage. So 1 win will give you a 30% chance, 2 wins, 60% chance, and 3 wins or more will give you a 100% chance of getting an adept. And then wins as a trio, the chance is based on how many of your wins on the way to the Lighthouse were done as a full fire team. So if 7 wins were done as a full fire team, you are guaranteed at least 1 adept regardless of your longest win streak. And then
But you need to be a full fire team is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
You can't solo this.
You can still do it, but you'll get more rewards. It's what they kind of did now, isn't it? You get more rewards for working as a trio, and you don't. I think, wasn't it on that I can't remember the name of the card, where you can now get an adept for getting to 7 wins. I think if you now go in as a trio, they don't count the losses. Was that right? That it just goes up as the wins, and you can still get it as long as you are working as a trio and not going in as a solo player. I think that's how they kind of changed it. I mean, I could be wrong, but there was more incentive. There's more incentive to go in as 3 players now, because even if you lose, you still get a weapon, you still get Trials Reputation. Whereas if you're going in as a solo player, you can still get those things, but you have to put in a bit more effort to kind of make sure that you get the win and do different things. So I think it's kind of based on that. And they say 1 win. I think
there may have been a piece where you still had to get the 3 wins to kickstart it or something. I can't remember
possibly.
Now.
Yeah, I think that might be the case. You get to the 3 wins and then it kind of kickstarts it, but then you don't lose any as long as you're kind of staying with that fire team. But it doesn't matter because Heresy is just around the corner and things are changing. They also say 1 win to 7 wins is 15% to 100%. So between 1, which is at 15%, and 7 wins is 100%. They're not going to tell you what's in between. You just kind of have to work it out. Weekly win streak rewards. Reward packages for each win streak milestone can be claimed once per week and are in addition to the repeatable Lighthouse chest rewards. Note, earning a higher tier weekly win streak reward will also grant all lower tier weekly win streak rewards that have not been claimed, as we kind of already said. So 1 win streak, Enhancement Cores you get 3 to 5, Enhancement Prism you get 1, Ascendant Shard you get 1, Adept Mod you get 1, Ghost Shell and 50% progress points, and this system will be explained in the reward section below. Hardened by Trials Emblem, which is first time only if not already earned. 2 wins, you get everything that you get for 1 win streak, and then you get 2 Osirian Ciphers. 3 win streaks, everything from 2 and 1, you get 2 Osirian Ciphers and a Trials armor piece. 4 wins, 2 more Osirian Ciphers, and 5 enhancement cores, and everything else below if you haven't already got it. 5 wins, you get the yellow Trials Glow, Osirian Ciphers 1, base Trials Weapon 1, Trials Memento, Trials Vehicle and 30 progression points, Trials Ghost Shell and 100% progression points, Trials Shader, and that's also on a knockout list and 1 per week, Flawless Emblem, first time only if not already earned, Light for the Lost Emblem, Flawless of the Empyrean Emblem and the Sunward Order Emblem, and 6 win streaks, everything below, you get the White Trials Glow, Enhancement Prisms 2, and 7 win streaks, which is a Flawless Passage, is a Red Trials Glow, Adept Weapon 1, Base Weapon 1, unlock a new Flawless Passage, and enable the progress of new stat tracker for the Flawless win streak. So this is what I'm talking about, that it kind of, you get those 7 win streak, and it has to be the win streak. It then turns into a Flawless Passage that you can then carry on playing as a kind of this other kind of thing. So maybe not for regular players, but for players that are constantly playing Trials, this is going to be a very good thing for them to kind of carry on playing and get more rewards. So the completed Lighthouse Passage, after you have earned access to the Lighthouse, your passage will change to a completed Lighthouse Passage. And this utilizes weekly performance-based matchmaking if everyone in your fire team is on a completed Lighthouse, Flawless or Trials Passage. And they will be experimenting with the use of weekly performance to allow us to match mixed skilled fire teams that exclusively play together based off their cumulative performance for the weekend instead of off of individual skill. They're going to utilize open skill if anyone in your fire team is on the Lighthouse Passage. This experience is like what players currently get when they are playing on a flawed card after having visited the Lighthouse. So not a flawed card for that like we had before, where if you matched up against three teams and you lost those 3 times, you then kind of got put in that flawed pool. This is different. This is after you've visited the Lighthouse and then you've lost your matches. You'll be put into a kind of a separate kind of, I guess it's another kind of separate pool. They're kind of utilizing open skill and weekly performance based matchmaking as kind of 2 kind of things to gauge people's skill and how well they've played. Players who continue to play on a completed Lighthouse Passage will get extra rewards on wins based on their highest weekly win streak and described below. So if you still not have earned all the weekly win streak rewards, you can reset your Lighthouse Passage and try again. Additional rewards for longer win streaks. So as mentioned, players who have gone to the Lighthouse and continue to play on a competitive Lighthouse Passage will get additional rewards for their highest weekly win streak. High win streaks can increase your drop chances compared to the lowest ones, or allow a chance to gain additional exclusive rewards. And they're also experimenting with a mini jackpot rewards for materials, which are some small additions, a chance to earn double or triple rewards. And then they've given us a nice little chart of what you can kind of get. So rewards on wins, you've got enhancement prisms up to 3, ascendant shards up to 2, Osirian Ciphers, Trials Engrams, Adept Weapons, Vehicle Progress, Emblem Progress, and Trials Armor. And it kind of works out from 1 wins up to a Flawless Passage, and there's a lot of percentages in between. I'm not going to break it all down for you because it is in the TWAB, but it kind of, you're kind of going to get a lot of rewards, basically. This is what this says to me. Flawless Passage. So players who have earned all 7 weekly win streak rewards will be awarded the Flawless Passage, and all repeatable Lighthouse chest rewards will be folded into post-win drop chances, alongside higher chances to earn cosmetics and the new Trials Emblem. This will also allow players to progress the Flawless win streak, which is a new stat tracker which tracks the longest win streak earned while playing on a Flawless Passage. This experience is most comparable to the players resetting their card and going for additional Flawless runs, with a focus now on 1 long continuous win streak instead of multiple separate Lighthouse runs. And this again will utilise weekly performance-based matchmaking if everyone in your fire team is on the completed Lighthouse, Flawless or Trials Passage. And because we expect there to be very few players who can earn this passage, it works on a hybrid system. So it's going to open up the kind of the matchmaking skill to look for similar players first before reverting to the open skill, so it does not increase the matchmaking times or reduce the connectivity quality. And the open skill is if anyone on your fire team is on a Lighthouse Passage, and the Flawless Passage Weekly will be the only thing that increments the new Flawless Lighthouse Passage stat tracker. The previous tracker, the Flawless Ticket, has been locked and will no longer increase, but can still be displayed on your emblem. So that's the old one that kind of people were showcasing. That's the Lighthouse Passage, and then turning into the Flawless Passage is that kind of first passage you can kind of pick up from Saint 14, which is what I'm getting. The second one, which is called, I'm sure this is the second one, the Trials of Osiris Passage. So this is, they want to provide a separate place in Trials that is more like Iron Banner in terms of rewards and matchmaking to get additional players into the ecosystem. So if you're asking why we want to make any part of Trials more like Iron Banner, it's because Iron Banner averages more than 3 times the daily participation of Trials. And again, I'm going to tell you, Bungie, it's because Iron Banner is over the week and people can kind of just go in there, do their stuff and play. And it's not like if you're playing during the week and playing a little bit here and there and grinding out your pinnacles and grinding out your boosts, there's no downside to you kind of jumping on for like 1 or 2 games at the weekend when you can kind of do that and progressing those, or just playing the game and enjoying it and then carrying on like Monday and Tuesday before the reset. Whereas with Trials, you're kind of forced into just those 4 or 5 days that you can kind of play. And that's kind of what hampers, I think, the progress with that. But anyway, that's me again talking. In the last 48 months, Trials has had more than 20% daily participation only 18 times, which is actually the exact number of days that Iron Banner has had less than 20% participation. In fact, the worst performing Iron Banner we have had during this period still had almost identical participation to the best performing run of Trials over the same period. And compared to Iron Banner, players who are not able to consistently go flawless find Trials to be unapproachable due to both the lack of rewards and how unfair many of the games feel with randomized matchmaking and lobby balancing. For a mode that needs high population to thrive, this is problematic.
I mean, it seems like they've obviously they know where the problems are. They understand where the issues are. So why did it take so many years to figure it out?
Because they lost the PvP strike team, didn't they? And I think it was only because, was it Joe Blackburn that came on that one time and did that post from his house and just went, look, sincerely, we are going to sort this out. And I don't think they even had a PvP strike team at that point. And he was like, we're going to have a PvP strike team. We're going to give you new maps. And I think that was the first time they'd heard, we're going to now have to develop 3 new maps. And he had a strike team created. They developed new maps. And it was like, we need to reinvest in this. This is a core part of the game. And that's why it's taken so long, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, like, these changes all sound good, but I feel like every time they make a change to make it a little more accessible, it sounds good for starters. I'm like, yeah, this sounds like it might be an interesting thing, but they hit the nail on the head. Like, if no one's playing, I mean, even now, like with the game in its current state, like, and I'm not playing Trials, even just like trying to get in some Iron Banner matches or, playing and matching for Nightfall sometimes is taking a little while, especially if you're playing kind of off times. Like, it's like, I really feel the lack of just total players in the game right now. So, I mean, if you want Trials to be anywhere, I mean, if I'm going to go and I've, cajoled a player, a friend or two to go play Trials with me, and I have to wait for the matches, no, like I'm going to nope right out of that playlist even faster than before. So, I mean, I hope that this brings enough people back where if you are going to play, you can actually go play and you're not sitting in watching a spinner go around saying, oh, we're trying to find people. Maybe there's someone out there who wants to play with you.
Yeah. I mean, they even say that, the perception that flawless is impossible, it's not a perception. I think it is a reality because a lot of people go in and they get stomped over and over and over and over again. And many people on PC are finding cheaters and the cheaters aren't getting banned. I mean, I've seen many kind of videos from like Lucky 10p and other people going, I've matched a cheater. And then they can still block the cheater and they still match up against the cheater. And it's like, this is ridiculous. So you need to address that as well as kind of addressing why the low skill players can't get a flawless passage. And I mean, like we said before, with the kind of the different rings that we had, that we kind of suggested many years ago, that then was implemented, that once you go flawless, you're then taken out of that kind of pool of players and you're put in your own separate thing. And that was one of the only times that I was then able to go flawless, because it was in the time that people were taken out of the flawless. I'd already kind of rushed and got their flawless out of the way. And then I was joining average skill players, and we were kind of fighting to go flawless. And that was the only time that I managed to kind of go with this kind of new Trials experience.
Well, that makes one of us.
Yeah. So this new passage, the Trials of Osiris passage, allows players to take advantage of the improvements to its base reward structure of Trials that they will detail below. So there'll be increased reputation, rewards for wins and losses, challenges, and earning ghost shells. They keep pushing these ghost shells, and I know we've had like about 5 or 6 ghost shells, and the same with kind of sparrows and ships over the time that we've had from like the implementation of Destiny 2 and Trials kind of coming back. So those will all kind of still be available in the loophole. So if you've never played Trials, you will be able to get your hands on some of these lovely Trials stuff that's been around for a while, and the new stuff. So they're going to have a matchmaking system that is fairer, lower stakes, and none of the stress of worrying about a loss and negative progress. And they still want to motivate people to try and win on your Trials of Osiris passage. And they're going to provide a healthy reputation boost for 75 to 150 per win, depending on your current rank with Saint 14. So playing on this passage will give you access to the following rewards. So wins grant reputation, base reputation plus Trials passage rep bonus, a chance for an engram, a chance for a base Trials weapon, and a small amount of progress points towards a Trials ghost shell from the knockout list. Losses, they grant reputation 10 times more than what they currently give for a loss, and the chance for a base Trials weapon. Additive extras, playing in a full fire team grants win or losses, bonus rep, chance for a base Trials weapon, and chance for an engram. And playing with clanmates grants win or lost, bonus reputation. And challenges reward pinnacles, Trials armor pieces, winning 50 rounds and winning 7 games. So that's what we currently have at the moment. So if you go into Trials now, you'll get pinnacle rewards for winning 50 rounds and winning 7 games, and they're separate. So you can kind of just do it as and when, and that will give you pinnacle rewards. They will still be there on this card.
Well, that's good, because that's the one thing I've been able, those are things that have, even I have been able to get to. Again, if I have enough time to sit down and just slog my way through it, those are accessible to me as a mid to low skill player. So that's good. That's they're not taking anything away from me as the low skill player going into this.
And they don't say that those challenges are going away for the other card, but maybe they are. Maybe that's why they've put them just into the Trials of Osiris card, so that you can still get pinnacle rewards from that, as whereas the other card, the Lighthouse Passage card, will give you X, Y, and Z, and will kind of give you kind of pinnacle rewards as you're kind of playing, or highlight items. So you don't necessarily need to get them. Maybe that's the kind of case.
Yeah, I mean, it really does sound like they're trying to, instead of having like like you were talking about, like the pool, the flawed or flawless pool, and separating people that way. It almost seems like they're trying to separate people by like what sort of, what's on your ticket when you go in. Do I have the I want to go to the Lighthouse because I'm good ticket, or do I have the I just want to go play and try to get some rewards ticket? And again, I mean, they're all the talk about the matchmaking being better and all this. At this point, I'll believe it when I see it, because I feel like we've heard all this before. If I can go in and have a good experience, that's the number one thing that'll keep me coming back. If I'm going in and game 1, 2, and 3 is me getting stomped, like I might as well have set my controller down and walked away, then that's the biggest thing that'll kill my desire ever to go back in.
Yeah, you do want to go in and win, and you don't want to kind of have to fight the teams that are already on their way to the Lighthouse. And I think that's what they're kind of going to be addressing with looking at how those players have kind of performed day in, day out with Trials, and looking at their weekly performance with as a kind of a whole as their fire team, or kind of utilizing their open skill, which will kind of look at their individual skill and hopefully match them with people of their similar skill, and hopefully match us with people of our similar skill. So next up, we have rewards. This is the stuff that's going to entice you. Respawn. Hunters can look like cats. Hunters can look like cats. They can look like a cat. An Egyptian cat.
Is a cat a dragon? I don't think so.
No, he looks like a cat. Looks like a cat face, and it looks like it's got ears on the hood. And it's very shiny.
Not a dragon.
No, it's not a dragon. So armor pieces will not be able to be earned from engrams until they've been unlocked. So like we have now with Iron Banner, you have to go through the reward track and unlock the item, or you get it to drop at the end of the match. So like the new weapon, the sidearm, or like the machine gun had to have kind of either come from the reward track, or it had to be a lucky drop at the end of a match to then be unlocked for you to then throw your engrams at Saladin to get more of those kind of things. And this is going to be the same way for the new armor pieces. So you can either get it from challenges or from the Lighthouse chest rewards, not as in-game match things. Warlocks look pretty cool. They've got horns, and the Titans, they've got wings on their helmet. But it's
Red Bull gives you wings? Question mark.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They do. The armor looks very nice. I mean, it's got that kind of bluish, kind of green Egyptian color in like the gold. Just kind of it looks fantastic.
You
as
Osiris type of look.
Yeah, those kind of Trials of Osiris looks.
Yeah. Were you seeing this ad? Because oh wait, is that in the PvP?
Yes, it's in the
One,
PvP.
okay, let me look there.
You have a look in there. So while you're looking in there, I'm going to tell you about the new cosmetics. So cosmetics are now earned on a point system.
Oh god, that's an ugly cat too. I'm sorry. That is the worst cat they could have chosen. Ew.
Could be Garfield.
I prefer Garfield, honestly. Is that another dragon set for the Warlocks?
No, it's not.
That looks pretty dragon-ish.
There's no dragons in ancient Egyptian lore. They're big into cats.
And you guys get to be Anubis. Look at y'all.
I mean, to be fair, no, we don't get to be any of these, but in theory, somebody does. Micah gets to be Anubis. The rest of us, not so much.
Well, the Warlock already gets to be Anubis. Now the Titans can be Anubis, and we get to be a cat. Not even a good-looking cat. Just a general cat.
Yeah.
So there was a question about the Trials glows. Is the Trial glow still temporary, or is it a full unlock now? Because for your 5-win streak, you get the yellow Trials glow. And you can get that weekly. And there was something else they wanted to mention about. Oh, yeah. For your, someone was asking, so I'm confused. You're not guaranteed your Adept weapon on a 7-win card unless you got a 3-win streak during it? Yes. So if you want to guarantee Adept, you need to get a 3-win streak somewhere in your 7 wins. Otherwise, it's just a chance of getting that Adept.
I'd still go with the chance. I don't mind.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a chance. And you can keep playing to at least get it that way.
But the cosmetics, they're going to be earned on a new point system. Various actions give you points such as completing challenges, winning games, or opening lighthouse chests. And your chances of getting cosmetics from those actions increase exponentially as your points increase. If you hit the upper limit of points in one pool, which is 1,000 points, you are guaranteed a cosmetic from that pool. And earning a cosmetic from the pool resets your points. So cosmetics are divided into vehicles, which are ships and sparrows, which are exclusive to players who can earn high win streaks, and Go Shells, which all players can earn, but it's faster if you go to the Lighthouse and get higher win streaks. In Heresy, they'll also be introducing a new ship and sparrow along with a new Go Shell, and all existing Trials of Osiris vehicles will be in one pool, and all Trials of Osiris ghosts will be in the second. And as again, they said that these are on a knockout list, meaning you can't get duplicates from either pool. So if you play enough, you eventually earn all of them. Your new Trials emblem, the Lighthouse Keeper, will also be earned this way, exclusive for players who can get the upper win streak. So you can still earn it, but it'd be exclusive for the upper win streaks. So I think that's 5 and up, isn't it? 5, 6, and 7. And with this, we're getting some new weapons. So to start the episode, they'll be bringing back an old favourite in the Exalted Truth, which is a hand cannon, with some great new perks. And they'll also be introducing a new sniper rifle called Keen Thistle, which is designed to give Macabre a run for its money in Crucible. And has at least one wild perk combination in PvE too. So triple tap and 4 times the charm might catch your eye. There you respawn. You might have that one. Do you like that one? No?
Like what, the sniper?
Well, it says that it's got one wild perk combo for PvE too, which is triple tap and 4 times the charm.
I mean, I would like it, but snipers don't do anything in PvE right now. Only heavy snipers are really doing anything, and even then, it's still very niche. So, I mean, yeah, I like the combo, but right now snipers need to be in a better place for me to be like, oh my god, yes. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, don't sleep on Discord and Incandescent either. I'm guessing that's for PvE.
Discord is like a PvP, right? If you're the last remaining fire team member, isn't it?
Discord. Final blows with this weapon grant this weapon increased speed for aiming down sights, accuracy, and airborne effectiveness for a short time.
Oh,
When it's
it's
active,
still
final blows
PvP.
refund. Yeah, when it's active, your final blows also refund your ammo.
It's definitely still a PvP. Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, Keen Thistle is going to be a solo aggressive sniper. In the left column, we're going to have snapshot sights, Lone Wolf, Under Pressure, Incandescent, Envious Arsenal, Slick Draw, and Triple Tap. In the right column, you have Opening Shot, Closing Time, Discord, Bait and Switch, Moving Target, Vorpal Weapon, 4 times the charm. And the origin traits are going to be Trials, Crucible, and Huck-A. So the Exalted Truth, which is the Void Adaptive Hand Cannon, comes with Slide Shot, Lone Wolf, Destabilizing Rounds, Moving Target, Zen Moment, Keep Away, and Withering Gaze. In the right column, Eye of the Storm, Opening Shot, Precision Instrument, Magnificent Howl, Redacted, One for All, and Repulsor Brace. And Magnificent Howl, that's interesting to put that on the hand cannon. The origin traits are Trials, Crucible, and Suros. And they'll be adding a third weapon to the group later in the episode as part of the late season refresh. And this will be the Inquisitor Arc Precision Slug Shotgun. In the left column, we have Envious Assassin, Lone Wolf, Offhand Strike, Loose Change, Perpetual Motion, Slide Shot, and Threat Detector. In the right column, we have Bait and Switch, Closing Time, Cascade Point, Fragile Focus, Jolting Feedback, Opening Shot, and Precision Instrument, with the origin traits of Trials, Crucible, and Suros. And going along with this, we have increased the Osirian Cypher cap to 30 from 10. So the same that we knew that from what they detailed a couple of weeks back with the Nightfall ones going up to 30 as well. So that gives you a chance that if you get 30, you have then 3 chances to then, if you've unlocked the Adept weapon, you then can go buy 3 versions of it to see if you can get the roll that you want. So that's really cool. And so going along those lines with the Adepts, they've also removed the requirement to earn the Adept weapon each week it's available. So now, like with Nightfalls, you'll only need to earn it once, and then it can be focused in subsequent weeks when it is in the featured weapon. So, like we have at the moment. So, if you do get an Adept plug 1 in the Nightfalls, the next time it kind of rolls around, you don't then have to go into the Nightfalls. As long as you've got enough ciphers, you can then just purchase it from Zavala and say, right, I want another one of these, but I just don't want to go into do the Nightfalls. So the pinnacle challenges remain unchanged in terms of how they are completed, but they now grant a piece of Trials armor in addition to the pinnacle gear. Win 50 rounds, Trials challenge, is pinnacle gear drop, Trials armor, and Trials Ghost Shell 40% progress points. And win 7 games, the Saint 14 challenge, which is pinnacle gear and the Trials armor. And that's only 1 piece for those. Reputation, they've also increased the amount of reputation gained on losses by 10% and added a new bonus that is earned by playing in a fire team with clanmates. So the base win, Trials Reputation, 135 to 205. Base losses, Trials Reputation from 60 to 155. So you could technically keep losing and get 155 points, which is more than a base win Trials Reputation. Just saying. With clan, if you're playing with the clan, win Trials Reputation is another 100, and a loss is another 50. And trio completions is wins or losses is an extra 25 reputation. Base rewards, they've added a new set of base rewards for wins and losses that will be added to the existing trio's completion rewards, but for players in any fire team configuration. So base wins, base Trials weapon is a 50% chance, Trials engram 33% chance, and a Ghost Shell 1% progress. Base losses, base Trials weapon is 33% chance, trio completion win or loss is base Trials engram is 50%, and a Trials engram is 50%. So there's a lot of rewards there, isn't there, guys? Is this actually, Respawn, seriously, is this something that you might actually want to try and go to the Lighthouse to just see the Lighthouse and get a 7 wins on your Trials passage to see what you can kind of get? Or is this still not kind of making interest
for
for you?
sure. I mean, I want to see the Lighthouse just kind of in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this is just more incentive to go, and if I can, manage to get the streaks that they want me to have or whatever, even better. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I
Are
just
the
I
rewards
want to see it in
enticing
general,
you?
just to say that I have. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So,
Are the rewards enticing you to be constantly playing it?
no, the rewards are not. Like I said, the rewards aren't really for me. The armor that they're going to give me is going to look like crap, in my opinion. Other people might
No,
like
no,
it.
no. But you can also earn old Trials armor as well. You don't necessarily have to have the new stuff. But
Well,
also,
what old Trials armor is that? You have the monkey, right? I can't think of any good
there's the
stuff.
Destiny 1 ones, which I think was the original cat with the cat hood that I vaguely remember.
Just play Trials for a weekend and you'll see all of the old Trials armor on display.
Yeah. Some of it is really good.
There is some good looking stuff. Yeah. Some of the stuff they put out more recently has been less good, but there's some better older looking stuff. Or better looking older stuff. That's how words work.
Yeah. Something that I don't think they mention here is the shaders. I think maybe at some point they might have mentioned shaders, but that's also another thing that will probably be in the loophole at some point that you will be able to earn. And some of those shaders are really nice. I know that they did mention the memento, which again, it looks really nice on some of the weapons that just turns them into kind of shiny gold, like liquid kind of gold, like flowing. Looks really nice. Which you can also check out even if you haven't got one. If you've got a weapon to the point of putting in a memento, so you've upgraded it, you can then drop down to look at the shaders, and it gives you all the memento shaders, even from like the Garden of Salvation, and all the ones that we've kind of Trials, Iron Banner, Vanguard, Gambit. You can actually have a look at it to see what kind of shaders look quite nice on that weapon, and you can see the shader for the Trials one there. Sorry, Peroty, you were going to say something?
Oh, just like the Trials of Osiris stuff has never really been my aesthetic either, but there's options.
Yeah.
But to continue on, I mean, even aside from the armor, though, right? I mean, the only thing they have to offer is mats, armor, and weapons. Unless they come out with any new weapons that I'm going to want. I've already got what Trials had to offer. Armor, meh. And then you can't get Artifice, so double meh. Hey. And then mats I already have, right? So if I'm gonna play Trials, it's just to see the lighthouse and maybe get an adept weapon. Now, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind an adept summoner,
There
to
you
be
go.
fair, right?
We won't tell you it's been taken out of the loophole, but
okay, well then even less of a reason to go.
no, but there might be something else that kind of comes up that is really good.
I'm sure there might be. No, but
Yeah.
as of right now, this second, what they have to offer, I'm just meh. They would have to give me something.
Is this something? Is it too late to kind of save Trials at this point? Is this something that they should have done when the final shape launched? Is that they should have had this? I know they probably, in hindsight, and if they had the resources, I feel that it should have gone with the final shape because it would have kept players engaged past the final shape and past the episodes, what people perceive as like the meh kind of things that are happening afterwards. Because we've always maintained that PvP is the kind of thing that keeps people in the game, but not actually, maybe not playing your story part of it, but kind of enjoying the competitive part of it and enjoying kind of just the playing of the PvP. I feel that this might be coming a little bit too late to save PvP. I might be wrong. They may be able to kind of get people back, but when we've spoken to like Trials players before, and my friends that kind of played Destiny 1 Trials and then came into Destiny 2 Trials, and at the time it was Trials of the Nine, they were like, no, this isn't Trials. And they came back for the initial opening of Trials of Osiris, and yes, it had some similarities, but then they were like, this isn't for me. And I don't think they've picked up the game since. And they were the players that would be playing every day, all day, and then at the weekends they would be playing their Trials of Osiris, carrying people to the lighthouse, and really enjoying kind of the competitiveness of it.
Are you talking about the Aussies or just other people?
Sorry?
I said, are you referring to the
my friends.
Aussies? Because we used to have a lot of Aussies
no, they
in
were
the
friends.
clan that just did trials. That's why they were in the clan. They just came to do trials.
No, I mean there were friends that he had that were doing trials and carries in D1.
Yeah.
In D1. I missed that part. My bad.
No, going from D1 to D2, I think it kind of turned them off, and even kind of listening to other like content creators that have played Destiny that have now kind of they're looking at this and going, yeah, Bungie have done a thing, they've said a thing, they're going to change this. Is it going to bring me back? No. And sometimes when a content creator says that, that is quite a lot of their community are kind of moved on with them. So I'm not sure whether this is going to be. I mean, I'm willing to give it a go and willing to play it and hopefully enjoy it, and hopefully it is something completely different. And then word will get round to say, this is a different experience. This is more fun. This isn't like Iron Banner, but it is a little bit more kind of intense to play and enjoy and try and get the wins. So, but you guys, sorry.
You still got to deal with the people like me. Like I said, like even though I'll take advantage of the system, I still am a firm believer that trials is supposed to be the pinnacle of PvP, right? If you're not good enough to be there, you don't belong there, right?
So I think we've moved past that now, though. I think the game has moved past that. They've moved past from the kind of esports version of what they wanted it initially to be. I think they realised very quickly when.
But I'm not even talking about the esports version. I get what you're saying, right? There, it doesn't need to be that competitive because there's really, no incentive or whatever, right? But
I'm saying that it's not an esports. It's not an esports game, and I think initially they thought maybe it could be an esports game, but then as kind of time has passed and people have kind of played it, and it's. I understand where you're coming from, that it should be the upper echelons of players that the high skill players, but it should be a place that everybody could be able to go into. Everybody can see the lighthouse, but for those high skill players, they should have something to show that they are those high skill players, like a stat tracker that says that they've got 20-0 plus, they're 7 flawless and they're still playing and they're still kind of kicking ass. And when they come up against another team that's maybe on their 15 or 20 or 25, 30, it's a real kind of battle of skill rather than kind of, have we matched up with a cheater? It should just be, that fun and that kind of exhilaration of kind of this battle of these two teams. And it should be fair that, that they're kind of playing against each other rather than them playing against us that we're just starting off on our passage card. So it should be for everybody. The game is for everybody. And
yeah, but there's other game modes if you want to play PvP that aren't trials. So, that's the only argument I keep coming back to is trials is trials. Trials is supposed to be like the high
Trials
tier
isn't trials anymore.
dudes.
Trials isn't trials anymore. Trials isn't the trials that it was in Destiny 1. And when it came back as Trials of the Nine, that was completely different to how the trials came back in Destiny 2 as Trials of Osiris to Destiny 1. It had elements of Destiny 1 trials, which was a very good, highly competitive game mode. But because we moved on, and we also moved on to PC games, it being on the PC as well, which also then enticed other players to kind of get involved in it. It's kind of that have also either hindered it or made it not enjoyable.
Yeah, that PC master race.
Bungie has 100% gone the other direction. Like from Destiny being something where this is for the high skill, this is the end game. They've really gone the other direction, and everything is accessible to everyone. For the good or ill of the game that we obviously all have opinions on, but that's really the direction they're going. Is they want everything to be accessible to everyone. Whether that's going to help the game or hinder the game further, we'll see how it plays out. But I mean, they're really opening the door to trials, which I don't know. It seems like you could have done something more with competitive to make that more enticing to people as the entryway into trials. Because again, if there was some of these changes, not that I need to go flawless or get adept weapons out of competitive, but like if there was something there for me to go chase consistently as a lower skill player, again with better matchmaking, with something to bring me back to actually and they touch on it, being able to know how well am I doing and how do I improve? Not just I walk in and I get obliterated. That doesn't tell me anything. That just tells me I lost. It doesn't say, here's what you can do to improve. If there was, that sort of training ground, for lack of a better word, in competitive for trials, you could go in and say, okay, well, I lost. Let me see how I can get better, and not just, I'm here in JV and I'm playing the professionals every single game. In no world could I have done anything to have won this game. There's no amount of skill, no amount of YouTube videos, no amount of help I can get to say, oh, you're going to beat this, Golden Trials, 97 times flawless player. It's simply never going to happen.
To be fair, you also should never have to play that person either.
Well, right. 100%. Like that should never be a thing. Like this should be the thing you're fixing, of actually make matchmaking work. Actually make it be matchmaking, not just, we pick some random people, we'll put you two together. You're both Destiny players. That's the same thing, right?
Yeah, Mike asked me the other day, he goes, is it a good reflection of my skill level, the fact that they're pairing me up against, and he named some YouTubers that he's been having to play against lately. I'm like, no, it's not. And he goes, well, that was me. And I'm like, no, because they put me up against people like Zeke Mushroom before, brother. Trust me, that is not a measurement of your skill.
It just means you're on PC and they're on PC.
Yeah.
Or you're on console and they're on console. That and they can say, oh, we've done this and we've tweaked that. Like these are the changes that needed to happen years ago. And to Nitedemon's point, about this whole article is, this is not for people like us. Like we are not the ones who are going to keep trials healthy. We are not the ones, no matter what they do to it, that are going to keep, that are going to come back week after week, that are going to stream, that are going to generate interest in the game. We are not those people. So I mean, them sort of, dumbing trials down for us to be able to play, maybe good for us, but is it good for the health of trials and the game? That I'm less sure about. I mean, am I happy for it for me? Sure. Am I happy for it for the game overall? And, the people who are going to really keep that playlist healthy and keep that population up? I don't, I mean, again, it'll help them if we're in there by giving them more, less loading times and things, but I don't know if it's going to help trials or PvP overall.
Are there enough people playing like the game in general? And I'm not throwing shade. I'm legit asking. Are there enough people playing in general for it to matter at all?
Right. I mean, I think the answer right now is no. I mean, absolutely not. But like, is this, are these the changes that are going to bring people back? And I think
no, absolutely not.
Right.
No, I mean, some of them are.
If you had done this 2 or 3 years ago, I think that would have been, you've lost a lot of people now. Like, I think you're at the point now where even with these changes, it's going to take time. So say these changes come out and it does everything they hoped it would do, and the 6 trials diehards who are still here are going to come back and say, oh, this is amazing, it's really working well. It's going to take a lot of time for people to, one, trust Bungie again and actually come back. Because how many times have we heard, oh, we're going to fix this, we're going to rejuvenate this, we're going to do this. How many times have we heard this? And if you've already moved on, and if you've already moved your community on, it's going to be that much harder to bring people back and get people interested and honestly willing to take a chance on Bungie again, because there's a lot of lost trust there in the PvP community. So it's not just it has to be good, it has to be good, and it has to stay good in enough time to actually bring people back and give them time to say, let me take a chance on this game again. It's going back to that score and lovers. You've been hurt over and over and over again. Why would you go back just to be hurt again?
Speaking of that, they make all these changes to all these things, but once again, they ignore the number one thing players need. And I still think that's storage. You want to bring back players, stop limiting what they can keep. You make a looter shooter where they don't get to keep their loot.
Yeah.
Come on, Bungie.
This is a constant discussion, and I think.
Yeah, but they keep making other changes. They're like, we need to bring back players. We need to bring back players. I guarantee if you said, hey, we have unlimited storage now, but you have to, I don't know, use ciphers, or you have to use silver, or you have to do something to get access to extra storage, that would bring people back. I promise you.
Yeah. No, it hasn't helped with the unsunsetting of weapons, and it also hasn't helped with we're not going to give you red bordered weapons for the season. So you're now kind of collecting X amount of weapons in, like, if you've got room in your postmaster, or if you've got
And
room
they're
in your
taking away crafting for a lot of these too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
Yeah.
and you're kind of you're collating these, and then you're kind of looking. If you are bothered about them, you're looking at Destiny Item Manager, you're looking at videos, and going, well, which ones do I need to keep? Which are the ones, So you're then collecting more than you should, and that's then overinflating your vault, and you're kind of. I mean, I've got to the stage I'm deleting all my exotics now. Everything kind of has gone. So I don't
I've
care.
been there for a long time, dude.
I've never really cared about like kill counts on there and things, but I've kept things like my Dead Man's Tale and my Hawk Moons that I kind of earned whilst doing those missions, because I don't think I can get those rolls again. And it's like, just going through and doing that. And then, like you were saying about like the player base being very low. This week, I tried to play Crota's End because I haven't got my Necrochasm, and I thought I really want to get a Necrochasm, even if it's just the base one. I'm only a couple of essences away from getting it. If I can get into Crota's this week and get at least one essence, or if I can just finish Crota to guarantee getting some essence to get the weapon. And Crota's is one of the featured raids this week, so in theory it should be a well-populated kind of. And I was like searching for
or populated at all.
Yeah, and it's like every now and then I would see a game pop up, and I would jump into it. And can I just preference
game
this?
pop up where, like on LFG? What are you talking about?
No,
on the Fireteam Finder.
On
The in-game Fireteam Finder. Can I just preference this now? If you're new to Destiny, or you're new to like just raiding in general, put a headset in and speak. You don't necessarily have to speak every 5 seconds.
But it's a raid. You need
communication, and the
make sure at least you can hear call outs. Even if you're not doing a lot of talking, at least be able to say I'm down, or if someone says, hey, are we all ready? Be able to say yes.
Or take this from me. I'm about to explode. Not emoting like 10 meters away from me, expect me to understand that I've got to get to you that quickly when I'm burdened by like this weight that I can't run to you, or just stop running off. And you need to communicate. The amount, I mean, there was 3 of us talking, and we were just like laughing at the fact that we were trying to get through that first bit in Crota's by doing the lambs,
where you have to play hot potato the whole time, and it's like, guys, we have to talk to each other. And we would say PC, like it's great. Those of us on console are not going to type back to you. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. I can play or I can type. I cannot do both.
The frustrating thing was that we were getting to the stage we went, right, okay, us 3 that are talking, we will communicate to each other who needs to deposit, who needs to pick up, and so we decided that we run off, we do the first couple of lamps, we put it down. One of the guys that isn't talking decides to pick it up or take it off of somebody, and we're like, oh my god, this is gonna go
biscuits.
Yeah, it's like, well, please.
Not only are you not helping, now you're actively hindering the team.
Yeah,
don't
we can't get you through this with the not communicating.
Yeah, but in their mind,
you're now getting involved,
thought that they weren't helping, and they're like, look, I can carry this. That ain't too bad. I can.
You can carry it as long as you make sure that you're kind of communicating to us. Like I said, not emoting 10 meters away from me, and I can't get to you. If you're walking next to me and you kind of then start shooting at me, or kind of emoting just in front of me, I can then grab it. But it was getting really frustrating. But yeah, it's like, so yeah, that population wasn't very strong this week from my experience during the day. Anyway, I mean, it could be different at night. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, and again, I don't say this to be the Gambit fanboy, but honestly, that's a bit about the only playlist that is well populated, in that you just don't need that many people. And I think the matchmaking is, hey, there's 8 of you, here you go. That's literally the only thing that I haven't had some kind of, even if it's not an egregiously long load time, but just like a longer load time than should be for a control match or finding a Nightfall to run.
Yeah.
Like let me run an Onslaught. It's like, oh, what are there, for a massive multiplayer game, you need to have players, especially I'm sure, because all the tuning of all the matchmaking stuff is for a bigger community, and it's putting metrics in and going, nope, sorry, we can't find people meeting these criteria. I'm like, I don't care. Just give me a game. Like I almost want to just give me some humans. If I'm running a PvE activity, Just give me people. I don't really care if their connection is bad. I don't really care if they're a day one guardian, because like I can't remember if I talked about it on the show last week or not. It was like when I played Iron Banner Eruption, I was you know when you load in and you see people's like KD and their kills and things, I was legit playing with like kindergartenians, like level 2 and 3. Yeah, guardians. They had a 0
you
0
did mention
KD.
that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So it's like their people are out there, and I'm like, good. Put me in with them. It doesn't matter. It's Iron Banner Eruption. Like, just smash people together at this point. I mean, especially and if it's PvE, I care even less. Just give me some people to play with. Like PvP is so painful just to try to go. Oh, because now it's like I'm at a point where I'm like, maybe I'll try some competitive stuff. Maybe I might try to spend a little bit of time on that, since everything else is sort of wrapping up, it feels like. And I'm like, but I can't with the matchmaking. Like there's so few people. I'm like, why would I go play things where I have to sit and watch a matchmaking queues for? That's dumb. Load me into a Nightfall with 2 of us. We'll work our way through it till we find a third, like unless I'm running like a super high-end GM where there's no matchmaking anyway or something, like just let me start the activity. It doesn't matter.
No. Well, getting back to the changes of trials, the Dominion game mode, they're going to change that for us. So while the sandbox changes outlined above in the 8.1.5.3 patch represent the bulk of our work towards making Trials gameplay a more enjoyable experience, they're also going to make some changes to the game mode itself. So they want to encourage players to engage in the combat first, with the zone being utilised as more as a focal point to break the stalemate, or less to win rounds quickly outright. So the zone that spawns in will now spawn in after 40 seconds instead of 30. I feel that this is this has been reverted, because I vaguely remember this being the case for when Dominion first came out, that it didn't spawn in for quite a long time, which was then prolonging the matches because people were kind of hiding and playing like very passive about trying to capture the zone. But hey ho, we're going to kind of do that again. But the zones now take 20 seconds to capture, up from 15, which is a good change, because when you're kind of halfway across the map and somebody is capturing it, by the time you get there, they've already kind of 3/4 of the way captured it, and then you're just being shot in the face as you kind of get there. So hopefully those extra 5 seconds help. And the neutral special ammo crates spawn at 30 seconds instead of 20, which again I think also might be a help for people not having to take on too much special. And they would be very remiss if they didn't mention Fireteam Base Matchmaking, or FTMM for short. And before they explain the changes they're going to make in Heresy Act 2, so these are Act 2 changes, they're going to provide you with some background on why they can't simply remove FTMM from trials. And they go into a lot of statistics over this, so it's kept solo players playing much more frequently in the old freelance weekend system that they did. So if they were to remove the Fireteam matchmaking and revert it to freelance weekends, it would not increase the number of trios or improve their experience. It would simply decrease the number of solo players playing most weekends, or even just not at all. And then, they do kind of go into a graph of the different, like, specific weekends and the investment weekends of when people have played and how kind of the player base has kind of worked out. And it says, trio players didn't increase the freelance when it went active, but solo players decreased dramatically. And most solo players only played the freelance weekends. On average, 25% less of them stuck around for non-freelance weekends. So this is when they had, like, you can only go in as a single player rather than the weekend, like normal weekends. If you're a solo player, you can kind of just queue up and go in. And sometimes you are matched up with other solo players, or you could be the other player to the duos that then face other duos with another solo player. So instead, starting in Heresy Act 2, they're going to allow duos to match trios right off the bat in both trials and competitive. And this will continue to allow duos to play with our 3v3 playlist without making it feel like an advantage that they can avoid trios, because that seems to be the case at the moment. You've got a duo, then you are more likely to pick up a single player to then go against other duos and avoid those trio players or those pre-made 3 fire team. So they've not enabled this in the past because it's for solo players that they get brought into that match to fill out the duo matches. It always feels like a bad experience to see trios on the other side, which it does. So it is a lottery for solo players to kind of do that. So to help with the friction, they're going to be setting it up so that solo players that get matched against a larger fire team, either in trials or competitive, will be granted a loss forgiveness for the match, on the condition that they do not quit, go AFK, or intentionally throw the game. I don't know how you can intentionally throw the game. I mean, if I just run in and I
You
get
stand
shot
in
in
the
the
corner
face,
emoting is how you intentionally throw a game.
yeah, I suppose. So if I run at the other team and I'm trying to shoulder charge them, I'm not intentionally throwing the game because I'm just getting shot or shotgun.
You're just being silly at that point.
You're at least moving. Yeah, you're at least moving and participating. Now, you could look at some game footage from some of my old trials matches and go, is he trying or not? Well, it's hard to tell because he's dead before he can even see anything. But that I really like, because there's nothing. I mean, it's so frustrating if you are actually having like a good weekend and like you're getting matched. Again, I'm often in as a solo player, if at all. And it's so frustrating if you're going in and you're actually getting matched with like some good duos, and you're actually you've gone to that like 2 or 3 wins, not even in a row, but just like overall. And then you get that you load in against that 3 stack of absolutely unbroken, flawless 90 times, all red trials gear, which means I'm here to wreck your face. And then go, well, I should just put the controller down because there's literally nothing I can do in this match. So it's nice to go, no, that one doesn't count. That's which is kind of how it feels like how it should be. That's Bungie saying that's our bad. We shouldn't have done this to you. This one's a free one on us. Like, good. Like that should be how it works. you put me against the absolute professionals, the Olympic team, and go, no, come on, you guys got this, right? No, I mean, we absolutely don't.
It's good that it's going to be in trials and competitive. So as long as you don't quit, go AFK, or intentionally throw the game, because any of those actions will still result in a loss,
right?
And potentially a matchmaking restriction, depending on how severe and the number of occasions. In trials, that could be like a make or break on your win streak. So that's a very good incentive to kind of still go in as a solo player. And if you are then paired with duos rather than two other single players up against other single players, I could see that as a very good thing for both game modes, really.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because I mean, if I'm going in solo, I'm already taking my life into my hands, and getting stopped by a 3 stack is never a good experience, no matter what you're playing.
No.
So that's a nice change. Because again, like it's I'm coming to this, like I said, of I'm not going to be good, but how am I going to have a good experience, and what's going to entice me to keep coming back? And knowing that if it puts me, when Bungie puts me up against the absolute professionals, then basically we can say, oh, that one doesn't count. That was a practice one. Go back and try it again. Versus, whatever momentum I've gained, just getting absolutely killed and being demoralized afterwards.
Bro said not if, he said when.
But hopefully you won't be demoralized too much, because you've got a new skill rework and player score stats. So in Heresy, they've undertaken the task of updating their internal skill rating and adding a new visual indicator players can see to measure their performance. So while their skill rating is accurate on a macro level, there is room for improvement when compared to players who have a very similar skill on game-to-game basis, and especially when reflecting performance in objective modes. And there are 3 main changes that they're making to the way that skill is tracked. So making objectives on par with base kills for points. So this is something that we've kind of talked about, is that when you go into Iron Banner and it is capture that point and not get kills, a bit like with Fortress, the kills do not matter. It's the capturing of the points that matters. But then people still go in there and slay out. It's like that doesn't count, because we need to be capturing the points. So they're going to be making those objectives on par with base kills for points. So as it stands currently, objectives are either not tracked towards skill or are worth a fraction of what kills are. This means that players who slay out but ignore the objective and lose can end up with a higher skill rating than players with less skills but who play the objective better and win. In practical terms, skill has been defined for objective modes in the same way it was defined for Slayer modes, which didn't always lean into an accurate indication of what players would contribute towards their team winning. Kills are still vitally important for any mode, but not all kills are created equal. And as Shaq says, your opponents cannot capture zones if they are dead. So we are going to be adding additional points to kills that are in service to the objective. For example, this could be something like when your team has a zone advantage in control, Kills on an enemy is attempting to capture an allied zone or kills against that spark runner. Each mode that is not purely Slayer based will have a new objective defeat stat on the post-game scoreboard, which will detail kills are eligible for this multiplier. We are also removing the multiple farmable points like damage dealt, revives, and longest kill streaks. These are not true indications of skill performance and can muddy the waters, but we will still display them as information stats on the post-game scoreboard. Overall, these changes will make playing the objective more valuable for modes which have them and allow players to get the kills in service of the objective to have those contributions recognised and reflected in their skill. Additionally, being able to more appropriately determine how much value a player can provide to their team will help to improve the accuracy of our lobby balancing system. So what does this mean for you? In a very simplified explanation, our skill effectively works by taking the points that you've earned each game and comparing them both to your historical average and to the points earned by other players in your lobby, as well as their historic average. These results are then run through the modified version of the Glico algorithm to determine skills gains and losses, and interpret back into our skills value on a scale of -1000 to 1000. And to better reflect this, they are going to be displaying a new stat called Player Score on our post-game scoreboard, which is a direct reflection of how many points you have earned towards updating your skill rating in-game. On the pre-game banner in Control and Iron Banner Control, the only two playlists where skill is currently utilised in matchmaking, we will also display your seasonal average player score for those modes alongside that of your teammates. While the average player score corresponds to our internal skill rating, it is not a direct one-to-one representation, as we run several modifications in the back-end to prevent direct skill manipulation. For example, internal tanking of your skill to play worse opponents or manipulate points gained in competitive. And they've also reworked the post-game scoreboard of all modes to show opponents defeated and combat efficiency, as they believe those stats are key to understanding how well you have performed in each match. And then they've got a kind of couple of pictures on this to show you what they're kind of going to do. And they've also added the additional stat to the scoreboard of more modes, including the longest chains, highest multi-kill medals, and longest streaks.
I love this. But Bungie really said, stop slaying out and actually help your team win.
Yeah. And it's actually going to help you determine your skill level. So I'm now scared that I might actually be paired up with other players that are actually playing the objective.
Heaven forbid. That's terrible.
There may be 12 of us that are actually trying to capture points in a Fortress match.
Oh my god, no, that doesn't seem right.
No.
That is a niche I've carved out for myself as an objective player to actually help my team try to win games, not just go, I killed a guy. Yeah, but we lost. See how you're at the bottom of the leaderboard there, buddy? You didn't actually contribute to the objective, but you looked good on stream for your fans. So there you go. You can do both. You can slay out and help the team. It's possible.
So we've got more competitive changes and points rework. So they've heard the feedback that points gained and losses in competitive, along with the expected rank system, makes it feel like you have a little agency over your climb. Yes, it's very muddy with trying to get to where you're telling me I should be and where I was last season. I'm totally confused. And then I give up. So for Heresy, they've removed the expected rank system entirely and streamlined the points, gains, and losses. The removal of the expected rank system means you will no longer be boosted up to the rank that the game believes you to be in. The only way to climb the ladder is to be going on wins more than you lose at all ranks along the way, with some leeway based on personal performance. So we've got some new rules for this. So wins and losses, and they've added or removed a base value of 100 points. Performance bonus is linked to player score efficiency. Above average performance gives you +1 to +10. Average performance gives you +0. And below average gives you -1 to -10. So if it's an objective thing, go for the objective. Even if you lose, you still can get points. That's what I'm getting from that. Contributor, I can't say the word now.
Contributions?
That's the one. Contribution scaler. This scaler modifies the performance bonus and exists to reward players who have outsized the effect on their team. This is the only positive effect. The contribution scaler cannot negatively decrease your performance below the limit of -10. This system can grant a bonus of up to +50 to either reduce the points loss on your defeat or grant additional points for a win, and will be utilised in two circumstances. First, to help offset the occurrence when some players contribute significantly more to the outcome of the game than others. And second, it can also be applied as a quit compensation when a player's left early in the match, but the remaining players continue to finish it out. That's quite good. And that's something I hate, is that within literally the first couple of seconds that you could kind of be playing a competitive match and somebody dips out and you're like, well, there's two of us now. And that's not going to go well at all. So skill modifier, based on the opposing team's average skill compared to your team average skill. They've capped at -20 to +20, but based on the current stat of 97% of games will award between -10 and +10. So you shouldn't be kind of playing players that are too far above your skill level, is what I'm basically getting from that, is that it's capped at it's capped at -20 to +20. So it should be within a skill range that you could achieve potentially.
That's the dream.
That is the dream.
And again, Bungie, this really is like, this feels like the 19th time you've said this. Oh, we're going to do this, and we're going to put you in the places you should be. I really need to see it happen. Like I am absolutely willing to go into competitive, because it is something I do enjoy playing when I feel like I understand my route to success. And again, when there's a weapon worth chasing, worth chasing. The riposte was a good weapon. The what was that? The strand pulse rifle. That was a weapon worth chasing. Like, it's something I'll engage with and enjoy, but I really need to feel like I'm going to have a chance. Like, I understand it's not trials, but I really need to feel like you're putting me up against actually competitive people. And it has been that way. Like, I've talked in the past. Like, it actually does do a better job, I think, than trials, and honestly, sometimes in Control, of putting you up against people of your skill level. So hopefully this doubles down on that and doesn't make that worse.
Yeah. So with the new system in place, they expect almost all games to finish with the players rewarded with a points value between 80 and 120 for wins and -80 and 120 for losses, with an average like ± 100. So the range of points as follows. Maximum win amount is 170 gained. Minimum win amount is 70 gained. Maximum loss is -30, and minimum loss is -30. So hopefully that's something that they actually put into the game as well, so that people can kind of, like, when they see it, I mean, it's here. Yes, it's in this blog post, but it also needs to be on somewhere in the game, so that people understand it in game, because it's still a guess of whether what points you're going to get and what you've kind of needed to do for those points. Yes, you're updating the scoreboards and going to be telling us stuff like that. But I think this kind of explanation of it could be this is what you could possibly win is 170 or -130, and somewhere in between.
Yeah,
but that's by the by.
Put something in the game to help me understand and help me. If I'm going to go in, put something in the game to help me understand what's happening.
Help me to help you. Help me to help you. Help me to help you.
Exactly. Don't make me go find a TWAB from 16 years ago to say, oh, here's how this works. Make it understandable.
Now, how would you like the new Redrix broadsword, called Redrix Estoc? Because this is their second ever PR 55 frame pulse rifle. So the first one is the one that you can get, is the BXR Battler from the 30th anniversary Days of Eternity. This is going to be the
before you ask us, shouldn't you tell us what it does first?
I can, yes. It's the PR 55 frame. So that's good, isn't it?
That's hip fire accuracy frame, right?
That is the Legacy PR 55 frame. It's customized frame with a dramatically increases accuracy, stability, and targeting whilst firing from the hip. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
you could have just said yes, but there you go.
Well, I wanted to tell the peoples the stuff.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
In the left column, you're going to have Encore, Lone Wolf, Perpetual Motion, Zen Moment, Offhand Strike, Rhyme Stealer, and Demolitionist. In the right-hand column, Desperate Measures, Sword Logic, Desperado, Headseeker, Rapid Hit, Kill Clip, Headstone. And the origin trait is going to be Stocks. Don't know what that is. It's going to have stocks.
That's like stocks and bonds. Like, do I get more money from Bungie if they do well with this? So.
Maybe. There's also going to be a new emblem. Earning Ascent 3 will grant you the Winner's Circle emblem. And then when Heresy Act 2 goes live, they'll be raising the maximum rank cap from 10,000 to 15,000 to allow players at maximum rank to climb to the new Ascension 0 division. So if you're the best of the best of the best, you can go even higher when Act 2 launches. Wins whilst in the Ascent 0 rank will give you the point progress in the same manner as the Trials aesthetic rewards towards earning the new Darkest Night emblem. Ooh. And the higher you rank, the more points you get for wins. And that's all you get, emblems and the respect.
Is the Darkest Night going to be sort of like a super black, but like kind of black?
No.
Somewhat black? Will it be black?
It's probably going to be a purplish kind of color if I was
there's
betting.
black.
Will it be black with a tinge of blue in it?
And red, yes.
Ah, perfect. As long as the blue's in there. People really like when you add blue to things.
No, I don't think they do. But if you look at the original shader, there was a little bit of blue in there as well. So there you go. Anyway, competitive quality of life updates. So they're making some changes to the existing collision game mode to improve the game flow. The new logic will prevent the next zone from spawning too near an active zone. And contesting a zone will now flip it to neutral so that neither team gain points, as opposed to the current behaviour when the team that owns the zone continues to accrue points while it is in the contested state. The new zone will now show up 20 seconds before it opens instead of 15 seconds, giving teams more time to move to the new area and contest the capture. And the quit protection timer has also been increased up to 90 seconds to make sure that if a player is AFK at the beginning of the match and gets kicked, their teammates will still benefit from the loss forgiveness. And we have a new version called Slow Capture Collision, which is going to be slower than the other slow capture collision.
Perfect.
This is going to be introduced in Crucible Labs in Heresy Act 2. And it will also be live in private matches starting at the beginning of Heresy. Slow Capture Collision is a twist on the existing collision. Does it go slower? Because that's not much of a twist because it's in the name. Where the zone takes much longer to capture, and awards a single point. Okay, there is a little bit more of a twist to it. And then rotates locations. The first team to capture 7 zones wins. And Respawn, they want you to let them know what you think. If players prefer it, they can replace it with the existing version of Collision in competitive. So you need to go, just you Respawn, and go and practice in there, okay?
I'll get right on that.
So it's a leisurely King of the Hill?
Well, rather than kind of accrue the points, it's like it will get there slower and it will just give you the 1 point and then disappear and go somewhere else, and then you've got to go there and capture it again. So it could go, the game mode could go even slower than kind of the points version of Collision, basically. That's what I'm getting from it.
This is what they're going to put on the really big maps. So you have to run a long way in order to engage. I figured it out. This is going on disjunction. So you have to run a marathon to get to the next point, but have plenty of time to get there and capture it.
But we're going to get some playlist reorganization. So over the last year or so, they've been experimenting with various playlist configurations to offer as many different experiences as possible with minimal splitting of the population. The solution that they've settled on is to break out our game modes into 3 different categories: core game modes, quick play rotators, and events. So your core game modes are base Crucible offerings, mostly unchanged from previous seasons: Control, 6v6, Outlier Protection; Competitive, 3v3, rank-based; Rumble, FFA, and Open Skilled; and Private Matches. Quick Play Rotators. Moving forward, we have split our Quick Play offerings up into 3 distinct nodes. So that's been split up in... Hang on. You've got 3... hang on, my brain's frazzled. Your game modes into 3 different categories, and then in the categories, you've then got 3 distinct nodes in a category. Okay. This is where we are. All of which rotate game modes.
Episodes and acts again, Nitedemon. Come on, it's just episodes and acts.
Kittens, cats, sacks, and wives. Oh, geez. So all of which will rotate game modes weekly and utilize open skill matchmaking, TBMM. Okay.
Open skill matchmaking.
No, they say CBMM. Do not question it. We are too far deep in this.
We're using Cope and skill. Got it. All right. Cope and skill matchmaking, CBMM.
This will allow us to showcase more modes more often without having to worry about certain modes only showing up once per season or not at all. Thank you for this, because you've now kind of changed all my rotators in my mind. I'm like panicking about what to tell people each week. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
These modes have been designed to rotate in such a manner that is minimal overlap between them in terms of experiences to avoid cannibalizing each other for population. So don't put Mayhem up with like Iron Banner kind of thing. Got it. Anyway, so this has been split into more things. So quick play, 6v6, open skill, standard Destiny gameplay in 6v6 environment, clash, supremacy, zone control, rift and relic. Small team quick play, small teams is 2v2, 3v3 and 4v4. Open skill, standard Destiny gameplay in a small team environment. Doubles, and you've guessed it, is 2v2 clash. Nothing else. You don't get anything else for doubles. Elimination variants, a 3v3 elimination, domination, dominion, countdown, survival. Competitive respawn variants, and not the respawn you're thinking about, but a different one. 3v3 countdown rush and showdown, 4v3 lockdown. Ooh. Modified quick play, various team sizes, 3v3, 4v4, 6v6, and open skill. Yes, that says a lot of words that mean lots of things. Exclusively modes where the sandbox has been altered in such a way that standard Destiny gameplay is not possible. We understand that checkmate and hardware have been very popular with some parts of the community. So we've added an extra variant for each to rotate to allow them to show up more often. Okay, so you can have checkmate variants, again 6v6 control, and 4v4 throwback, which is survival, showdown, countdown, and rush. Hardware variants, 6v6 supremacy and 3v3 hardcore, elimination, countdown, and dominion. Other modes, 6v6 momentum control, mayhem clash, scorched clash. There's lots of. I know what they're I know what they're kind of talking about. They're kind of broken it down into three, and then there's various different things in those three, but then there's other variants of those breakdowns of the things, isn't there? There's so many more different kind of game modes that I'm getting from this, and variations,
different rotators and different and different number of people too. So you can from solo 3v3, 4v4, 6v6, there will be something up in various weeks, and 2v2 now is going to be a whole thing. So yeah, no matter how many of you there are playing PvP, there will be something for you each and every week that will hopefully rotate in a somewhat understandable way.
Hopefully. And I'm not sure the 4v4 throwback will kind of work, because didn't we all kind of complain about that when we had PvP in Destiny 2? It went from 6v6 to 4v4 because of the kind of the maps. And we were like, no, we don't like this. We want to go back to 6v6 and 3v3.
Listen, nobody plays a 4v4 game mode in this game already. Putting it in the Crucible isn't going to help you.
Definitely not. And events. Now we get to the favourite bit, events. So as we have already been doing with Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris, events will now replace the most closely related existing node for the duration of their run. So like with Iron Banner, it normally takes over the control node. Trials takes over the 3v3 node. So the biggest change for Heresy is that Iron Banner is reverting back to being active for a single week at a time. And they give us some dates for these, which is pretty cool. They've also introduced a new Iron Banner quick play rotation option that will appear alongside the Iron Banner control. So the quick play is their nice modes that they like to have. And you can either just play control, or you can have their other fun modes to play. And Crucible Labs will no longer be a standalone playlist. It will now appear in the weekly rotation of the corresponding quick play node that it is most relevant to. Iron Banner Control, 6v6 Outlier Protection replaces Control. So it's just Control, but Iron Banner Control. And both Iron Banner playlists will be active over the following dates. Get these penciled into your diary. February 18th to the 25th, April 1st to April 8th, and April 29th to May 6th. And that's all you're getting. You're getting 3 and no more. No more, no less.
Sorry, March.
I'm actually away on one of those weeks. Not looking forward to that.
Well, they do look at your schedule before they schedule these in, obviously.
I think they do.
they say, when is Nitedemon going to be away? Because we need to give other people a chance, to play Iron Banner too.
So Iron Banner Quick Play Rotator is 6v6 open skilled, and it replaces the Quick Play and will be Tribute, Fortress, Eruption, and they do say that it could possibly be Rift coming soon.
And nobody will play any of those modes.
Yeah. So at the moment, when you have Control and then next to it is kind of the featured thing for the week. So this week we've got Clash next to Control, and that kind of changes every week. And it used to be the Party or the Relentless playlist. They can kind of combined into one, but they're now calling it Quick Play. So we're going to have Iron Banner in the Control bit, but also the Quick Play is going to have the Tribute, the Fortress, Eruption, and possibly Rift. And then Trials of Osiris is on the other side, is 3v3 open skilled, weekly performance, and it replaces a small team Quick Play node. And Dominion, it says Guardian Games Quick Play, 6v6 open skilled replaces Quick Play. So when that kind of comes back up, that'll be there. And Crucible Labs, or Supremacy, and then Crucible Labs Variation Modes, open skilled replaces either the Quick Play, small team Quick Play, or modified Quick Play, depending on what mode is being tested. And then we have a couple of screenshots to show you what they're kind of talking about, with like going from left to right with the countdown, competitive, control, and then supremacy, with momentum control underneath that, with Rumble, private matches, and your Pathfinder. And then when Iron Banner rolls around, elimination, competitive, Iron Banner control, and then next to that, Iron Banner eruption, Team Scorched, Rumble, private matches, and then your Pathfinder.
So they're adding an icon in the lower left where there wasn't one previously. So you'll have one more opportunity to play something different each time. That's what it looks like.
Well, I mean,
when I look at this screen versus the current screen, where they've got in the lower right where the private matches are now, and Pathfinder at the bottom. Now there'll be another icon on the left side of where the private matches are. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll have six public matches of things to play, one private match and one Pathfinder, versus the 5 options you have today at any given time.
Yeah, 6 matchmaking nodes active at any given time. 4 of those will utilize the open skill, which is skill-based matchmaking, and 1 will be rank-based, and 1 will be outlier protection. We're not going to tell you which ones, you just have to guess. No, they probably will. Tells you on the thing. New playlist. You have probably noticed they have a handful of new playlists shown in the bulleted list above. So let's break them down for you. Iron Banner Quick Play 6v6 Rotator. Based on player feedback, we have broken Iron Banner up into 2 playlists, each one replacing an existing node on the Crucible Director. Iron Banner Quick Play will be the new home for Eruption, Fortress, Tribute, and eventually Rift when it returns, and will feature the open skilled matchmaking system utilised by other Quick Play playlists, instead of the outlier protection used for controlling Iron Banner control. If you want to play some more party-orientated Iron Banner modes and taking things a little less serious, this is the place for you. I would have thought that that's more serious, doing Eruption, Fortress, and Tribute, because you have to and the Rift. That's not part. I don't see that as party.
Yeah,
I see that as more of a serious thing. The party thing is control.
Yeah, I don't see that being, if I'm going to casually play a party, I don't want to be playing Eruption where it's hard to understand. Oh, I just blew up. Why did I blow up? I'm not sure.
And Team Scorched, I would say, are more kind of party orientated. They're just more of a kind of a fun version. But that's what they're kind of calling those Iron Banner modes. So that's the place for you. And all standard Iron Banner rewards can be earned in this playlist, just like in the Iron Banner Control. Now we have Lockdown 4v4, and we finally brought back Lockdown and reworked it to address the previous issues that the game mode faced. Lockdown works like a round-based version of Zone Control, with the twist being a capturing of all 3 zones immediately wins the round for the team that can pull it off, regardless of the score at the time. High risk, high reward. If you don't want to go for the power play, no problem. Hold 2 zones for longer than your opponent, and you can accrue enough points to win the score by itself. So if you get the 3rd one, even no matter what they kind of got, then you can kind of just beat them. Okay. We also have Checkmate Throwback, which is 4v4, a new playlist that focuses on what used to be and may one day be again. Still the same Checkmate that you know and love, with greatly penalised ability cooldowns. The special ammo meter returns, but closer to its original values, and the modified weapon damage, but this time focus on small team combat. and that's going to be Survival, Showdown, and Countdown Rush are all on rotators. Hardware Hardcore, which is 3v3. Hardware has been very popular enough that they want to bring it back and more often, but with different types. So if you've ever wondered what Trials would be like with no abilities, now is the time to see for yourself. Elimination, Dominion, and Countdown are on tap. No abilities, no respawns, lots of problems. And then we've got some more rewards. They're just throwing the rewards at us. We've also got some new weapons coming to both Crucible and Iron Banner. So Iron Banner, we have the Warlord's Spear, which is an arc-adaptive trace rifle, with the left column giving you dynamic throw reduction, envious assassin, rewind rounds, high impact reserves, hit fire grip, a loose change, with the right column being desperate measures, kill tally, target lock, 4 times a charm, and redacted. And the origin is going to be Iron Banner. And Peace Bond returns, which is the stasis adaptive burst sidearm, with the left column rangefinder, subsistence, Zen moment, headstone, lone wolf, moving target. Right column will be Headseeker, Desperado, Rhyme Stealer, Desperate Measures, Demolitionist, and Kill Clip, with the origin of Iron Banner. Crucible is going to get the Jox's Longsword, which is a Void Heavy Burst Pulse Rifle, with the left column giving you Closing Time, Demolitionist, Dragonfly, Killing Wind, Gutshot Straight, Lone Wolf, Pugilist, Enlightened Action, Rewind Rounds, Repulsor Brace, Strategist, and Shoot to Loot. Whew, that's a lot, so lots of grinding there. Right column will give you Adrenaline Junkie, Desperado, Desperate Measures, Destabilizing Rounds, Withering Gaze, Headseeker, High Impact Reserves, Under Pressure, One for All, Swashbuckler, Redacted, Zen Moment, with the origins of Crucible and Nadir. And then they've also got a handful of general Crucible changes that don't fit into one of the above sections. So they just want to kind of tell you about them now. So we have lobby balancing, and they've made some more changes to paired player lobby balance so that it will fall back to the average lobby rank balancer less often when dealing with fire teams. Map weighting. The 6v6 game modes will reduce Vostok multiplex from the average weights to below average weight, increase burnout from the average weight to above average weight. Competitive, they've removed Citadel Clash and Multiplex Clash from the rotation. These were previously at the very low weight. And they've removed Radiant Cliffs Clash from rotation. This was previously at average weight. And they've increased the weight of Burnout Clash and Dead Cliffs Clash from the above average to high weight to compensate. Game mode rules. Showdown. Revives are no longer subtracted a point from the opposing team. And then there's lots of future updates that they can't talk about now for Codename Frontiers. But there's still stuff coming. They're going to tell you about the special ammo meter, which is again being rebuilt and less likely to cause local lag spikes or grant infinite ammo. We'll take your word on that one. And Respawn, you may be asking, why is it taking you so long to do anything with that new ammo meter? It's because there's been lots of things. That's basically what it is. And they've got lots more to share with us as we get closer to that time, or Codename Frontiers. And they're going to see us all in the Crucible. And that's me done for my rework. Questions? Because I can't answer them, but
Concerns, complaints?
Yeah. Address them to Bungie.
Mercules did have an answer. Someone was asking about, the trials changes in the skill factor and the performance bonuses. So there was someone saying, basically, I perform well and my points go up this way. I perform poorly, my points go down this way. And Mercules clarified, the only thing that go into your performance bonus are your efficiency and player score stats from that game. Doesn't care about your skill, anything seasonal, or anything outside of the competitive playlist. So for the bonuses, it is only just in where you're playing and how you're doing in that piece of it. So, cool. Figure if somebody had a question, then somebody else may have a question. So there's an answer to that question.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Panoramix 18's Vault Cleaning Services. Has your ghost got too much junk in its trunk? Does your alt hunter have 8 Titan helmets in her inventory? Did you donate more Fractaline than would be considered healthy by 9 out of 10 Cryptarchs? Then call Pan's Inventory Cleaning Service. For a nominal fee, he'll clean out that vault faster than a D1 beta veteran would a loot cave. And it really, really works.
This is your final weekly rundown of episode Revenant, week 17, starting on January 28th. As this is the final week of the season, here is your reminder to start collecting all of your episode Revenant pass items, any past episode echoes reward track items from Bungie.net, plus your reward track items and engrams from the Gunsmith, Zavala, Shax, Rahul, Zer, Hawthorne, Drifter, and Saint 14 before the end of the episode. Plus, you can get a leg up on XP and artifact progression for the next episode by hoarding the bounties that are still available. If you can, save up those exotic and prime engrams to rank up faster with Master Rahul in the next episode, and be able to grab those shiny new exotic armor pieces, and finish up those seasonal challenges for your large pile of bright dust. Also, if you haven't already, it's worth dropping in to see the gunsmith, as he has a curated set of weapons available, which could be going away at the end of the episode. Week 17 sees the continuation of the Past is Prologue, running until the end of the episode on the 3rd of February. Up for grabs are the full selection of mementos, along with Spores of Conquest, exotic ciphers, Ascendant alloys, and Ascendant shards. You could also choose from a selection of weapons, from Trials of Osiris, the Solar Aggressive Frame Hand Cannon Igneous Hammer Adept, and the Strand Adaptive Frame Grenade Launcher Cataphract GL3 Adept. From the Grandmaster Nightfalls, the Arc Rapid Fire Frame Pulse Rifle Horus Least Adept. From the Crucible, the Stasis Rapid Fire Frame Fusion Rifle Riptide, and the Exotic Sniper Cloud Strike, or class-specific Artifice Armor. Visit the Drifter in the Tower Annex to pick up quests that will reward a special currency called Bento Tokens. These tokens can be exchanged for the rewards over at Eris Morn on the Moon, with a total of 8 Bento Tokens per account to be earned, so spend wisely and make them count. And once you've turned in 5 Bento Token quests, you'll gain access to the returning Destiny 1 shader, Chatterwhite. For a weekly pinnacle reward, Act 3 of Episode Revenant brought with it the new exotic mission Kel's Fall, where you can earn the new Void Exotic Shotgun Slayer's Fang, and new Prison of Elders challenge Kel's Vengeance, which can be found over in the Last City for 2 to 3 players. Act 2 of Episode Revenant brought with it the Tomb of Elders, and Contest of Elders over in the Last City, which can be accessed after you complete the initial steps of Act 2. Also available for a weekly pinnacle is the Salvation's Edge raid, over in the Pale Heart, and new dungeon Vesper's Host, which can be found over on Europa, with the exotic sniper rifle Icebreaker up for grabs. And as a reminder, this is the last week of the Grandmaster Nightfall catch-up node being available, giving Guardians one last opportunity to complete their Conquest Seal for this episode. This episode's Nightfalls are Lightblade on the Throne World, Proving Grounds on Nessus, Heist Battlegrounds Moon, Arm Stealer on the EDZ, Birthplace of the Vile on the Throne World, Inverted Spiral on Nessus, Liminality in the Pale Heart, Battlegrounds Behemoth on Nessus, and the Corrupted on the Dreaming City. Over in the Last City we have Onslaught Salvation, which can be accessed after you complete the initial steps of the opening act of Revenant. This new version of Onslaught brings with it new defences, 3 new mats, and new enemies to fight. You can select from Widow's Court, Eventide Ruins, and Kel's Grave, either normal or expert. Also, the original Onslaught has been updated to include some of the new additions. Located in the Vanguard playlist, the featured Onslaught map this week will be Vostok, with the Siege Hook Ogre kicking off the boss rotation. In the Last City on the Helm, the exotic mission Encore is still available, with 2 difficulty options, normal and expert. Also, from episode Echoes, we have the 3 new battleground activities, Delve, Conduit, and Core, with Enigma Protocol and Breach Executable. The expert battlegrounds will start this week's rotation with Conduit. The Dreaming City this week is at a weak curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in the Strand, and has the Broken Courier mission for the next week. The Blind One features Scorn enemies and the Plague, Sigrus, and Veracus. The Ascendant challenge will be the Agonon's Abyss over in the Baildred Wishes Lost sector. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is Beyond. The Trove Guardian is located in Archer's Line, while the Wandering Nightmare is the Nightmare of Jax, Claws of Zevra Wrath at the Hellmouth. Nightmare hunts Crota, Despair, Fogoth, Fear, and Ghoul, Rage. The Altars of Sorrow will start this week's rotation with the Nightmare of Tanix and the Apostate Sniper. On Europa this week, Corridis the Dark Priestess will be the Empire Hunt, Eventide Ruins will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Survival. Days of Eternity expert difficulty rounds are Kabul, Taken, and Crota. The Scatterhorn armor set and the Wild Hunt armor set will be available in Days of Eternity with Weapon Set 1. Arsenic Bite 4B, Blasper 2, Corsair's Wrath, Deafening Whisper, Dire Promise, Enigma's Draw, Escape Velocity, Giant 7 Rifle, Friction Fire, Royal Chase, True Prophecy, and Timeline's Vertex. The Witch Queen Weekly Story mission is The Cunning, Altar of Reflections Catalyst, and Altar of Reflections Pact. The Wellspring activity will start the week on Defense, with a Void Sniper, Father Sin, and Zurich, Scorn Raider as the boss. The Lightful Weekly mission is First Contact, the Partition mission will be Backdoor, and the Vex incursion will be Zephyr Concourse. In the Pale Heart, the exotic mission Dual Destiny is still available for teams of 2 Guardians, where you can farm the mission to earn as many new prismatic exotic class items as you like. The final stretch cooperative focus campaign mission this week will be Descent. The 12 Guardian Match-Made Excision mission is also available next to the race for a weekly pinnacle, with the Grandmaster version granting the Ergo Sum Catalyst and an Ascendant Shard. The Salvation's Edge raid challenge this week is his second encounter, Dissipation, called At Capacity. The Root of Nightmares raid challenge this week is the first encounter, Cataclysm, called Illuminated Torment. The Kingsfall Raid Challenger Swikisi 4th encounter, Daughters of Oryx, called Under Construction. The Vault of Glass Challenger Swikisi 1st encounter, Confluxes, called Wait For It. The Deep Zone Crypt Challenger Swikisi 4th encounter, Tanix, called The Core 4. And the Garden of Salvation Challenger Swikisi 2nd encounter, Spire Defense, called A Link to the Chain. Featured Pinnacle Raid 1 will be Vow the Disciple over on the Throne World. And featured Pinnacle Raid 2 will be The Last Wish over on the Dreaming City, with all challenges available for all encounters, with the exotic Pulse Rifle Collective Obligation being farmable from the final boss in Vow, and the exotic Fusion Rifle 1000 Voices from The Last Wish. Featured Pinnacle Dungeon 1 will be the Shattered Throne over on the Dreaming City, and featured Pinnacle Dungeon 2 will be Duality over on the Derelict Leviathan on the Moon. The exotic mission rotator will be Presage, with the Dead Man's Tale exotic Scout Rifle being the main reward, the Season the Haunted, and opulent weapon sets, plus the Idolian Pursuant armor set. The exotic missions, the Whisper and 0 Hour, will also be available in the Legends tab. We have now had all of the episode Revenant challenges over the first 15 weeks of the episode. So, as a reminder, if you complete enough of them, you can get a large pile of Bright Dust to spend at the Eververse store in-game. Lost Sectors, Tuesday Metamorphosis on the Throne World, Wednesday K1 Revelations on the Moon, Thursday Battleground Wishes on the Dreaming City, Friday Chamber of Starlight on the Dreaming City, Saturday The Quarry on the EDZ, Sunday Excavation Site 12 on the EDZ, and Monday The Broken Deep in the Pale Heart. Our 17th feature, Nightfall, will see us face off against Sadia in the Corrupted over on the Dreaming City, with the Undercurrent Grenade Launcher as the featured adept weapon. The 6v6 playlist will be Control. Team Scorch should be in the Party Relentless playlist, Rift in the 3v3 playlist, with Trials of Osiris returning at the weekend. And this final week should see double XP across all playlists, to help you round out those reward tracks and secure your loot. Still available is the Destiny 10th Anniversary in-game celebration event, and don't forget to keep an eye on Zer this Friday at Reset to see if he's offering another chance to grab a random rolled exotic class item for 41 strange coins. And that's it for the 17th week of the Final Shape episode Revenant.
TWAB, 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 that's the TWAB.
All right, well, we do have This Week in Destiny for the 23rd of January, 2025, because after that massively long PvP update, they were like, don't worry, there's a TWAB coming tomorrow that's going to have even more information. which made all of us just sort of moan internally, going, "That's great. We're so thrilled for all of this." And now
I wish they would kind of space it out better, because the PvP changes would have been nice to know like 2 or 3 weeks ago, when there was hardly anything kind of coming out from Bungie, to then kind of get people more excited that Heresy was coming with these changes. So I really wish they would space things out. I understand that the kind of time frame that they only get these things out when they know that these things are actually going to be in the works, but it would be nice ahead of time. But yes, we have a TWAB with lots of information.
Yeah, like most of this had to be at least mostly together by then, you would think, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, first thing in TWAB is, if you haven't been hit with enough information, there's going to be a developer live stream. So on Tuesday, which you may still be listening to this show at this point, by that point on Tuesday, January 28th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 6 ETC, 7, you know when the Bungie time frames are, but 10 a.m. Pacific time. They just say go to twitch.tv/Bungie for a developer live stream. And if you watch for at least 15 minutes, you're going to get the Scorned Organ Emblem. And if they have an ongoing thing with subscribing to people on Twitch right now, or you have to gift, either subscribe with real money or gift a sub. Your Amazon Prime sub does not work for this. So basically, any streamer who's doing Destiny, if you're watching a game to give campaign, all of them are eligible, and you'll get the golden hour shader. So that one involves $5 American dollars or whatever a Twitch sub is in your country. But yeah, either subscribe to them or gift a sub, get you that golden emblem. Watch the developer live stream for 15 minutes, and you get the Scorned Organ Emblem. So new emblems to add to your collection. And they say if you haven't read our PvP standalone article yet, here it is. But we've already read it, so we're good. They've got some content update plans for Heresy. Heresy is not going to have a fixed length for each act, meaning they're not all going to be the same amount of time. For instance, Act 2 will last 3 weeks. That's it. And also all reprised weapons are going to be available at launch. And then we have all of the weapon and armor updates. And boy, do we. So for all you respawns out there, the Hunter will have sealed Amankara Grasp reworks with a weapon swapping focus to differentiate it from other Hunter Reload exotics. Your perk description now reads as follows. Your powered melee and finisher final blows grant nightmare fuel, increasing handling and airborne effectiveness. While active, freshly drawn weapons deal additional damage and grant nightmare fuel on final blows. Gaining nightmare fuel reloads all holstered weapons, so you can fuel your nightmares. Your Guizen Vest now progresses its super returns on super hits as well as kills before becoming invisible. Improve the maximum possible super energy gains per return while also increasing the amount of progress needed for maximum gains. And it also emits a cloud of weakening smoke when you exit invisibility while nearby an enemy. Works both in neutral and while in super.
What? That's crazy.
So Guizen Vest OP is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Your renewal grasps, they've doubled the rate of the frost armor gain in the enhanced Dusk Field Grenade. Your Foe Tracer, both as a standalone exotic and as part of your relativism exotic class item, the Spirit of the Foe Tracer, they've increased the bonus weapon damage duration from 10 to 15 seconds. Your Radiant Dance Machines, they've improved the airborne effectiveness and hip fire mobility, range, and accuracy for primary ammo weapons. Multi-kills with primary ammo weapons will refund dodge energy. When your dodge energy is full, multi-kills grant extra charges. Powerful combatants and guardians count as more than one kill. For relativism, your Spirit of Galanor, reduce the maximum amount of energy refunded for Silk Strike and Golden Gun to 30%, down from 50%. And that's it. That's all we're doing to Hunters right now. For Titans, we're going to touch these Titan Ramparts. They've removed several downsides applied by the Assault Barricade to bring it in line with the Towering Barricade behavior. Cumulatively, these changes result in the Towering Barricade you can shoot through with no other downsides, while Titans is equipped in PvP, see below. So they've increased the barricade health from 400 to 500, no longer increases the barricade cooldown, nor the barricade duration, and they've further increased the damage dealt to the barricades by Guardians from 125% to 160%. So this results in a near identical effective barricade health in PvP, about 2.5% less than after these changes. Eternal Warrior, final blows with the Fist of Havoc now grant extended super duration. So bring back the glory days of being able to go from one end of the map to the other in your Fist of Havoc in PvE. Your Ursa Furiosa and Stoicism, Spirit of the Bear, your blocking damage with Unbreakable now return to grenade energy instead of super energy. Grenade energy is returned at the end of the Unbreakable and is scaled based on the amount of damage you blocked with it. Your Kepri's Horn now sends out 3 waves of flame instead of just 1. These waves will no longer return toward the barricade. They will only travel outward one time.
Yeah,
tracking
I'm
on the
not happy
waves.
about this one.
No. Tracking on the waves has been enhanced, though. Combatants damaged by these waves are enveloped at a sunspot. Players are enveloped if they are defeated. And now requires a solar super to be equipped to create flame waves from the barricade.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that because it worked with so many other supers having the Kepri's Horn that it just sent out that flame wave. So you could pair it on your Strand subclass and you could tangle somebody and the wave would go out, hit them, and then hit them back again. Very good in PvP. It wasn't game breaking, but yeah, I don't like this.
Yeah, it wasn't game breaking, but it was enjoyable. It was a fun little bit of synergy you could play with. And for the Stoicism, the Titan exotic class item, the Spirit of the Horn, it has now inherited, all the changes made to the Kepri's Horn exotic. And also on thrusters, Spirit of the Horn will now emit 4 waves in an X pattern. So when you're thrustering, it's a panic, everybody gets fire in an X pattern away from you. An insurmountable Skullforge, and now grants energy to arc melee abilities when hitting targets with any melee attack. Amount granted varies based on the melee used. So, for most at least, energy granted for most will be your power melees, then a non-glaive unempowered melee while knockout is active, and then an unpowered melee including glaives. And that's it for the Titan. So you made 19 minutes out with the Kepri's Horn changes. And you made Respawn happy with the Guizen Vest. And then Warlocks, who knows if you'll be happy or sad. Because we're going to touch the Storm Dancer's Brace to double the damage benefit per stack of Ascending Amplitude up to 20% per stack from 10%. Now also reduces the cost of Ionic Blink during Super by 50%. And reduces the maximum amount of energy refunded to 30%, down from 50%. Your Geomag Stabilizers, they've added a new perk. Sprinting while near max bolt charge will top it off. So it starts at 6 stacks of bolt charge, and they've re-enabled the visual effects where boots spark when sprinting near max bolt charge. And they've increased the super energy gains from the Ionic Traces. They've increased super energy gained from ionic traces to 7% from 2%. Got it. So now you can get 7% back instead of 2%.
Yeah,
they said increase and then the numbers went down and triggered my brain for a minute.
Yeah, Fallout. The Fallout was reading it and he was like, they've written every other one this way and then they've gone this, so that makes no sense. And then somebody pointed out, no, it's to this from. It's like, yep, okay.
Yeah, the sentence makes sense. It was just like, wait a minute, you said big and the number went small. Your Secant Filaments and your Spirit of the Filaments on your Warlock class item now gives class ability per energy kill while Devour is active. Your Speaker's Sight, your healing turret no longer targets enemies at full health. Allies need some damage done to their shield to be eligible targets. Well, that's good. Heal the people who need healing. Now, Verity's Brow and Spirit of Verity, there's a whole mess of changes, so with lots of numbers. Now uses a meter to track death throws, and death throws is the perk that improves your grenade recharge rate and your grenade damage. So then now there's new durations per tier. So basically at one time it's 8 seconds, 2 times is 7 seconds, 3 times is 6 seconds, 4 times is 5 seconds, and 5 times is 4 seconds. So as the tier goes up, your cooldown lessens by a second, from 8 seconds to 4 seconds. And when one tier's duration elapses, the buff will downgrade to the next lower tier available rather than expiring entirely. So you get bonus grenade recharge per tier of, at one time you get a half second, and then it goes up by a half a second each tier to 5 tiers for a 2.5 second recharge. And then we have one, for exotic class item shared perks for Spirit of Verity. So they say, speaking of Verity, the above changes extend to the exotic class item version as well. On top of all those tiers and duration changes we just gave you, we're giving more to the base exotic of the Spirit version to help players build in the grenades on Prismatic. So on the exotic class item version, they've gained bonus grenade damage recharge rate, but provided 50% of the base of Verity Brow exotic. So you get more grenade in Prismatic. And that was all our armor changes. So
grenades? Yeah.
All of them. And now we're going to move to weapons and weapon perks. So we have a global change of aim assistance. So this is a nice one for you and I, Nitedemon. Aiming at a target for a short time will prevent another target moving quickly across your reticle from dragging your aim off of it for controller only.
No, it won't. It lies.
So theoretically, when you're engaging somebody in PvP and someone else runs across from them, it will not chase them, allowing you to get gunned down because you are no longer shooting at the person you're trying to duel with. That's a lovely change.
What happens if you manually choose to shoot the other person? Because sometimes I do that. I go, oh, it's gone with that one. I'll shoot that one. And then come back. No, I'm shooting 2 targets. No, it's not going to help with that.
That's called bad threat assessment.
Okay.
You fail. Yeah.
You're gonna need the Ooh Squirrel perk to build into that next season.
Oh.
What the hell?
So weapon archetypes and subfamilies. They're doing some PvE damage tuning. We've tuned some low-performing weapon families in PvE to bring the competition a bit closer together. When you're selecting a weapon to use, these changes should help a number of archetypes that have been in need of love for quite a while. So, scout rifles.
Need lots of love, yeah.
Which should be an evergreen. Will now do 15% more damage versus minors and 30% more damage versus majors. Obviously, PvE only. Auto rifles, we're just going to buff them 10% across the board. Minors and majors, 10% more damage. SMGs, just as a whole, plus 5% versus minors. And additionally, in 8.1.5.3, we increase the base magazine size by about 10 to 15% rounds based on the mag stat. So you've already gotten more SMG ammo. Now you're going to get a little more SMG damage versus minors. Which really is a terrible thing to do to the minors, but you know what? They probably deserved it. Trace rifles, plus 20% versus minors. And linear fusion rifles, plus 10% versus all combatants. So again, across the board, just 10% more damage for all combatants, which I guess includes bosses and mini-bosses. Because they call that out different than the auto rifles, minors, and majors. Now, glaives, if you want to hit things with sticks, they significantly increase the aim assist, aim magnetism, and damage fall-off ranges across the board for all of the glaives. They've improved glaive projectile hit registration, and increased the baseline effects of all stat values for handling speeds, including your shield ready speed and draw and stow speed, your magazine size, your projectile speed, and your reload speed. More speed. Glaive Go Fast update. Final hit of the melee combo will also deal double damage. The hit also inflicts much more flinch on PvE combatants. So, Glaive Go Faster, Glaive hit harder when you finish your combos. Never don't finish a combo. Your aggressive frame fusion rifles. So right now there's only one aggressive frame fusion rifle in the game, the Coriolis Force, issued way back in Beyond Light. And they like to give that subfamily a bit more love if you still have one laying around. To try to sell its unique charged spread shot gameplay with a complete rework. So it originally fired all pellet at once, so its recoil felt more like a shotgun. So now for your single aggressive frame fusion rifle, it'll now fire 3 bursts of 4 pellets in an increasing wider spread. Increase the minimum damage when fully outside the damage fall-off range by 45 to 65%. Increase range fall-off stat by 4 meters compared to normal fusions. And increase the range fall-off end by 3 meters compared to other fusions. And increase the damage versus minors and majors by 15% relative to normal fusions. So, there you go. If you have the Coriolis Force, it got a rework. Yay? Nay? Maybe? Go. Who knows? Nitedemon's got 6 in his vault. I know he's just been waiting for this day.
I'm checking now, yeah.
I'm still waiting on our damage buff to the butterfly gun. Bungie's like, oh, I know we promised a damage buff, but it's already performing well, so we're not going to give it a damage buff.
Well, while you're hunting through your vault for your Coriolis Force, you should also check on your No Hesitations, because your support frame fusion rifle, No Hesitation, remains close to its original behavior. With this change to its base stats, this change primarily affects perks and mods applied to the No Hesitation, and opens more space for future support frames to differentiate themselves. So, range now increases how far away you can heal another Guardian. So, higher the range, you can heal Guardians further away. That's it. That's all they've done to it for now. Your rocket-assisted frame sidearms. They've reduced the PvE detonation damage by 45%.
How much?
So listen to the second line next. So the PvE detonation damage got a hit by 45%. And they increased the impact damage by 100%.
Yeah,
so
but
land your shots.
Yeah.
Bungie says get good, scrub. Land your shots. They've also reduced your aim assist fall-off max distance by 8 meters, reduce the magnetism fall-off and maximum distance by 8 meters, reduce the damage versus boss, vehicle, and mini-boss targets by 30%. Your buried bloodline body shot damage is unaffected, however. The critical hit damage is buffed by 8%. So use your buried bloodline if you have one. The rage stat was a vestigial to the weapon subfamily, so we've removed it. So your range masterwork and enhanced intrinsics will now be replaced by something more appropriate. So if you've got a rocket-assisted sidearm that has a range masterwork, it's going to get something more appropriate. They don't tell you what, but something. For your exotic weapons, everyone's favorite weapon that they've just been thinking about every day, the Lorenz driver.
Yeah.
They're picking up the bounty tag. Now grants 1 more ammo to the bag.
I forgot that it does that. It drops like a dog tag thing that you can then pick up. I completely forgot that thing actually does that because I haven't played with it for a very long time.
Yeah, and triggering the Lagrangian sight by picking up a bounty tag adds 6 ammo to the mag the first time you trigger it, and returns to adding 1 per tag on extensions while the buff remains active. So get a kill, pick up a tag, you get 6 more shots. After that, 1 more shot per tag you pick up. Your Delicate Tomb fusion rifle. They've increased the chance to make ionic traces from minor combatants from 4% to 10%. Increase the PvE damage bonus for only Tempest Cascade Shot from 30% to 100%, and remove the timer from the Cascade Tempest. It lasts until it's fired. Everyone's favorite gun for figuring out how far am I from that guy over there, Darcy.
Ooh,
they've given a new catalyst perk, Networked Targeting. So hits with Personal Assistant active grant you and nearby allies improved overall weapon performance and precision damage with non-exotic sniper rifles.
Oh,
they've improved the recoil.
It's the Gallahorn of sniper rifles. Get out of here.
Yep, they've improved the recoil, flinch, target acquisition, handling, and precision damage. It stacks up to 5 times. Darcy will also get this buff. And Darcy users also get a plus 15% damage after granting 5 stacks to a teammate. So yeah, Respawn, you're looking for a reason to be excited about snipers? There you go. Bring your friend Darcy and your non-exotic snipers, and you can have a good time with it.
What's the max damage buff? 15%? Is that what you said?
Yeah, 15% once you've granted 5 stacks to a teammate.
Yeah, that's for the Darcy, but for everybody else, what's the buff?
It just says yes.
What is the damage buff? Well, you said they get extra precision damage, right?
Yes, it increases it.
But it doesn't say by how much?
Nope, it says it says it improves it. So it's improved. So yeah, no,
Interesting.
it just improved. By how much? We'll have to let some nerd tell us. But yeah, they've improved it. So your edge of action, edge of concurrence, and your edge of intent. So those are your class exotic glaives. If you've crafted it and then forgot all about it, your special shot is no longer tied to the glaive energy. It's now triggered on 6 weapon hits to allow the special reload. Increments off both shots and melee hits. So that's for all 3 of them. Now your edge of concurrence affects a jolting feedback trait added to its intrinsic perk. Your edge of action adds the destabilizing round trait to your intrinsic perk. And your edge of intent adds the incandescent trait to your intrinsic perk. Also adds a cure pulse to special shot impact. And a healing turret no longer targets enemies at full health. Just like the other change to healing turrets not, targeting people at full health. And I'll let you figure it out by those description which glaive is for which class, because they're all different flavors. Your Centrifuge auto rifle, they've increased the mag size to 45. More bullets, more fun, more bolt charges for everybody. Now these are for our friends that can shoot multiple flavors of ammo. So our Dead Messenger, our Hardlight, and our Borealis. The fundamentals. New effect. It gains a 30% damage buff, 10% in PvP, to this weapon for 10 seconds when you apply or receive the elemental keyword that matches the currently selected damage type of this weapon. And they remove the effect. It no longer grants different stats based on current element. So basically, for all 3 of those weapons, whatever flavor you're playing with, you pick up the, void. I can't remember what those things are called. The void thing, the art thing, the solar thing. It'll give you that, 30% damage buff in PvE and 10% damage buff in PvP.
30%, no joke, brother.
It really isn't. And for Borealis only, they've increased its stability by 20 and aim assist by 10 to permanently granted the void element bonus that it will no longer have since Borealis is a sleeper pick in PvP. This bonus was selected over Arc since there are more ways to gain handling. Now, this is a change that's not going to affect anything. Respawn, don't worry about it. It's all going to be fine. Don't you even fret a little
I like how you lean up to this, brother.
There's definitely, it's just a normal exotic. There's nothing to see here.
Are you talking about the Atreus?
It's going to be okay. The Harbinger's Pulse, which is a perk on a certain exotic that has its own report website. Telesto.
Oh no.
They're doing it. They're going to touch the Telesto, and I'm sure this will have no ill effects. So your Harbinger's Pulse now only refills Telesto's ammo from reserves, instead of Telesto and your kinetic slot weapon. Now triggers with any void Final Blow, and your Final Blow requirements increase from 2 to 3. However, Telesto Final Blow counts double. In other words, it'll trigger from 2 Telesto Final Blows, or 1 Telesto Final Blow, plus another void Final Blow kill, or just 3 void Final Blows. So, 2 kills with the Telesto, 1 kill with the Telesto and something void, or just 3 something voids will proc this perk on Telesto.
And it's a range of Telesto projectiles. That's a little nutty.
And your multi-kill timer is increased from 2 seconds to 4.5 seconds. So, I will let your imaginations run wild on what Telesto's going to do with Void after this comes out. And the Catalyst is getting a new perk, your Harbinger Seethe. After 3 activations of the Harbinger's Pulse, your special reload the weapon causes a rain of Telesto projectiles on your next direct hit. So again, just imagine the possibilities. Because I'm sure nothing will go wrong. It'll be fine. What have we got to worry about? Our Vex Caliber. They're going to trigger the Perpetual Loop by scoring a melee kill while your Overshield is active, and it also fills your glaive energy to full.
Yep.
Slightly increase the Void Overshield trickle-on rate to nearby allies and yourself when guarding. They've also increased the potency of the Vex Caliber's secret innate advantages against the Vex.
Vex Caliber.
Yeah.
Anybody get that reference? No? Okay.
So it has secret innate abilities against the Vex, which probably aren't secret if you've used it. But the secret damage bonus when striking with its projectiles against certain enemy faction has been increased from 10 to 25% to match Wishender and Malfeasance. And the Vex Caliber now briefly disorients non-boss Vex with its melee attack.
Nice.
So your Wardcliff Coil. Oh, the Wardcliff Coil. Everyone's day 1 PvP nightmare. Your new intrinsic effect grants 1 stack of bolt charge to all nearby allies every 2 rockets fired. and that's 4 stacks per trigger pull. So rain down beautiful, beautiful arc on everything, and you get the bolt charges, which do things we talked about last week.
As long as you don't kill yourself with it first.
Risk and reward. Risk and reward. So your Queensbreaker, that's, or Queenbreaker, that's definitely a gun that was really good for a while, and then they said no. So your player can reload special ammo at any time to swap between the scopes. Your marksman sights retains the previous behavior of firing a single shot that chains to nearby targets and blinds them. The range of the chain has been increased from 8
now. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, apparently, I guess it had I don't know if it was the previous behavior was the single shot or the single shot and chaining, because I don't think I've ever used it. But yeah, now it'll single shot and chain, and they've increased the chain from 8 meters to 10 meters, making chaining easier. So single shot, lovely chaining arc damage, and blinding them. Your combat sights now alter the weapon to fire a 3-round burst with a charge time of 533. Sustained damage on a target increases the charge rate of the weapon down to 300 charge time with no loss in damage. Useful for quickly dealing damage to bosses or other high health targets.
Now, here's the question. Because the reason nobody uses this exotic is because it's crap damage. But if it's going to shoot 3 rounds at once, as long as Bungie doesn't divide that damage between the 3 rounds, it'll actually be really good. But I have a very strong feeling.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying with no loss of damage. So presumably,
no loss of damage, meaning like as long as you hit all 3 bolts, you'll get the damage of the one that it was before. Because that verbiage is misleading.
Yeah. I mean, the way I read it is, you can do the single shot and chain the damage, or get 3 shots quicker, and each of those, basically it just increases its rate of fire. It doesn't increase its rate of fire at the expense of additional damage. That's how I read it. But will it really? Who really knows?
Nobody knows.
No, nobody does. So we're just gonna have to find out. And also, the scope that you select on the inspection screen will determine the scope is active by default when spawning into an activity. So if you want to preset one scope or the other, when you're ready to do boss damage, you can say, "Hey, let me switch over to those combat sites, get my burst damage going." And now the colony, they've increased the detonation damage by 40%. This puts the damage,
not bad.
Per shot a little above the legendary drum grenade launchers, and increase the number of bots spawned by 1 for all enemy types except for players. So for players, you get 1. For minors, 1 goes to 2. For elites and majors, 2 go to 3. And for champions, mini bosses, and bosses, it goes from 5 to 6. So, player still gets 1, everybody else, you get an extra 1. Quicksilver Storm. Yeah, more bots, more death.
Well, I mean, the main fault of that thing has been twofold. 1, it didn't do enough damage. And 2, the spider bots kind of had a hard time chasing people, right? But if it's going to do extra damage now, then the bot's not chasing people is irrelevant. You just shoot it at the boss like any other grenade launcher, and it should do well, I think. I hope. It sounds like.
One would dream. Yeah, I mean, hopefully it'll at least give you more bots. So hopefully the more bots leads to more death, more enjoyment.
The problem with the bots, like I said a minute ago, is they suck at finding targets. So if I could use it as a grenade launcher, regardless of whether or not the bots find a target, that's cool. The bots at that point would just be a cherry on top kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Icing on this delicious cake of death.
That's right.
Death cake. So yeah, but who knows? You get more bots. Hopefully the bots are useful. And if not, then it stays in the vault and you say, what colony? I don't know what you're talking about. Everyone's favorite strand auto rifle, the Quicksilver Storm. They've reduced the shots required to trigger a rocket by 17%. Which, hey, that you can shoot rockets out of the gun, which some of us forget half the time. Now, the Legend of Acrius. They've reduced the spread angle by 33% and increased the maximum projectile range from 12 to 18 meters, which I know Respawn got excited about, and I saw...
No, I didn't get excited about it. Other people got excited. I'm trying to tell people, ain't nobody giving up their grenade launchers and their rocket launchers for a Legend of Acrius in PvP. You know, PvE. I mean, it's always been a heavy damage dealer, but its slow rate of fire is the problem, not necessarily the spread of the distance, right? But everyone's like, oh, it's gonna break PvP. It's gonna break PvP. Why? Who's giving up their grenade launcher or their rocket launcher for Legend of Acreus? Who's giving up their exotic slap for Legend of Acreus? Nobody. You know, I don't know why there's so much hype around this. I really don't.
Well, Mercury, Eververse said, I'm losing my mind. Y'all buffed my PvP baby. 18-meter instant kill is going to be insane. To which DMG replies, we did what? So there's at least one person out there excited to use this who's, again, there's always that one person that has used Legend of Acreus this whole time and has been waiting for this day, and they're thrilled. So yeah, so now you can get, cross map killed by the Legend of Acreus and the Chaperone. It'll be fun for everyone. And don't worry.
No, because they're both exotic, so you can have one or the other.
That's what I'm saying. One, you can do both. It's not in the same match. They're going to alternate back and forth. Or they're going to be on the same team and just rain havoc down upon you, and then you'll just be sad. But don't worry.
They got to get heavy first, and heavy is only one round.
Yeah. But Respawn, if you love exotic shotguns, have we got some more changes for you? They've reduced the range on the Fourth Horseman. They've reduced the rate of fire.
They've reduced the range that was already point blank.
No, sorry. Rate of fire. I misspoke. They reduced the rate of fire slightly to give more control over wasting shots on the Fourth Horseman. And it loads ammo from reserves to the magazine per kill. So maybe it'll be a thing that no one's going to use that still.
The Lord of it does a lot of damage though. That's what's crazy, is it does a lot of damage, but as soon as you pull that trigger, the gun's already facing the sky. So reducing its, rate of fire, I don't know by how much, is gonna stop the whole shooting rounds into the sky thing, then maybe, because it does a lot of damage. It really does.
Yeah. Maybe just the reducing the rate of fire means you have to stop, think, re-aim, and then pull the trigger again. Giving you time for that barrel to come back to the target from the sky. And loading ammo from reserves, to the magazine per kill. If you are laying waste to things, then you can keep laying waste to things. Just slowly, instantly, from far away ish.
What they need to do is give ammo to the magazine based on targets hit. Because it's good for boss DPS. You're not going to clear ads with the freaking Four Horsemen. Who does that? Answer: nobody. But you can use it for certain bosses, and if you can, I don't know. I don't like. Oh yeah, we'll give you ammo on kill.
Yeah. I'm sure there's somewhere maybe that makes it useful-ish, but I don't know where that is. But the Lord of Wolves, don't worry, because they were like, who's been quiet for a while? The Lord of Wolves. So let's increase the range and reduce the base damage. Let's remove the accuracy penalties from the standard fire mode. The Release the Wolves perk now triggers on hip fire instead of a special reload. It fires full auto. It greatly increases the damage and rate of fire, and reduces the accuracy and range.
Wait, hold on. The first thing you said was they decrease the damage and increase the range. Now you're saying it greatly increases the damage? What?
I think it's when the Release the Wolves perk is triggered. Because they say overall they've increased the range and reduced the base damage and removed the accuracy penalty from standard fire. And then when the Release the Wolves is active, which, they, again, words, Release the Wolves now triggers on hip fire instead of special reload. In addition to that, I read that as when Release the Wolves is active, it now gives you full auto, increased damage and rate of fire, but reduces range and accuracy.
Gotcha.
So hold it up to people.
Lord of Wolves can go ham. Got it.
Yeah. Hold it up to something and just hold the trigger down and go, haha, now you're dead. But don't go far away or you'll have the Fourth Horseman problem. And now, presumably you've had this weapon, you've got the Catalyst. Your reload speed and stability boosts are now built in. And when Release the Wolves is active, dealing damage to targets scorches them. Ooh. And when you ADS, defeating targets spreads Scorch to nearby combatants.
Ooh.
So, hold down trigger
There's
full auto.
A lot of stuff going on there, bro.
Yeah. Trigger the perk, more damage and rate of fire, less accuracy and range, and Scorch.
Yep.
So, just set it all ablaze. Done. And just in time to pick up maybe your shiny new Cloud Strike from the Bento tokens, they've added the behavior to the Stormbringer perk. So rapid precision hits create a lightning storm at the point of impact and grant stacks of bolt charge. And they've added behavior to the Mortal Polarity perk. Precision final blows generate a lightning bolt at the target's location and grant a moderate amount of bolt charge. So give it some things to play with on bolt charge. I still
So
will
what
never
does
do
the
it
bolt
with it.
charge do? Because it already lands a lightning bolt at the target location on precision hit. So that's not new. I don't know why they're saying that like it's a new thing.
Bolt charge is the new arc verbs they gave us last week.
Oh no, that's the one where when you trigger it, it brings down lightning.
Yeah, the
Right?
positive stacking buff that you build up over
Yeah.
time. Once you reach back charge, your next ability attack unleashes a devastating bolt of arc lightning. So more arc lightning.
So more lightning. Yeah, I got you.
And they're building that, we've mentioned it a bunch of times. They're building it into lots of arc things now. So things that didn't have arc will now have more boltiness.
Because everybody always wanted to use that for boss damage because the lightning bolt thing. And it always did okay, but it never really shined, let's say. Maybe
Right.
if it's going to start bringing down even more lightning bolts than what it was before, it might be better.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's what it sounds like they're doing. Basically, if you are getting those rapid precision final hits, you can, and especially if you're doing other things
is it a
with
final
arc.
hit or just a hit? Because that matters.
Or it says rapid precision hits creates a lightning storm at the point of impact,
Good.
and then grants it the stack of bolt charge, and then if your precision final blows generates a lightning bolt at the location and grants you more bolt charge. So it's basically the gun will do bolt charge. The gun will do lightning. You can then get kills with the gun to do more lightning. So I'm not saying it's going to be a great boss DPS weapon, but it might be a great mini boss or a great mini boss plus ad clear. You can really do some damage to that primary target, and in addition, get that lightning and those other charges to do damage to all the targets around them.
For sure.
So may not be great, but at least better, and it'll work with the new bolt charge thing they're adding, and everybody gets a free one if you do the Bento tokens, if that's the way you want to go. If you don't have one yet, so maybe it's something. Thunderlord, they added behavior to the Rain Havoc perk. So final blows with this weapon generate lightning strikes from above. Your lightning strikes, you guessed it, now grant a stack of bolt charge, and it's strong against overload champions.
That is pretty strong, actually. Holy moly. Even more lightning from the Thunderlord. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that seems like a no-brainer. You have a gun that we have a gun that shoots lightning. Now you can shoot the gun more for even more lightning. Again, what's not to love? Yeah, so those are all our weapon exotic changes. Now we have some weapon perk changes. For destabilizing rounds, it now grants volatile rounds for 2 seconds if any targets are hit by the volatile burst after the initial final blow.
Oh.
And they've reduced the internal cooldown from 4 seconds to 1.5 seconds.
Oh my god, dude! Gwenston Vest is going to be off the chain.
Yeah,
Gwenston Vest
it's
and
be
oh god, there's another one where you go invis a lot too, and there's 2 Void Arc Hunter chess pieces that's really going to benefit from this. Wow, just wow.
Yeah, I'm as someone who deeply enjoys strapping detonators to people's chests and blowing them up. This makes me very happy. Destabilizing rounds is gonna be good fun.
Oh, so that's how you strap bombs, is destabilizing rounds?
Well,
I thought
no,
you did it with like your fist or whatever.
yeah. No, yeah, that part is built into the Titan Void kit, but just more Volt explosions, the better.
Oh, okay, more Void.
Yeah. I love a good destabilizing round. Full court. So if you want to stand way back, it now scales the detonation and burn damage of area denial grenade launchers. So if your area denial grenade launchers, it gives you more detonation and burn damage based on how far back you are. So that seems like fun. You can now freeze everything or avoid everything in a bigger area the further back you are. I don't know if it's anything I want to specifically hunt down, but yeah, I'll take an improvement, I guess.
I mean, full court used to be good, but the problem with full court is you had to be so far away for it to trigger fully.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it seems like basically just like a buff to how it works. for or basically like above 4 area denial things.
Yeah, but did it say at max range? Because max range is what, 30 or 35 meters on that gun?
It just says
Really
it
far.
scales. So yeah, I mean, just as it
Oh, it
scales.
does
So yeah,
scale. Okay.
yeah. So I mean, you can just spray and pray with your area of denial grenade launcher and go, I'm going to freeze everything over there, and it'll do more damage and make the area bigger. So yeah, I mean, it really is just I want to deny this area. Now you can do it from further away, and it'll now be slightly better with full court. Is how I read this.
Yeah, that's pretty good representation, I think.
We do have our ambitious assassin. So they've removed both the multi-kill and reload timers.
Oh, cool.
So, no more timers.
So more
Ambitiously
proccing.
assassinate more
Nice.
people. And flash counter, they reworked the flash counter to read, taking damage after guarding emits a disorienting blast. So it no longer requires a timed input or melee to trigger, and deals moderate damage in a large cone in front of you, disorienting combatants. Now, can we give Nitedemon the flash counter, so when he drops his sword, he doesn't get murked in the GM Nightfalls, because it'll give a nice little burst of things, or is that just I don't even know what flash counter rolls on.
Well, he doesn't really
a
get
sword
murked
thing?
in the Nightfalls. Like with his build, he does really, really good in the Nightfalls.
Right, until he has to move. Until he has to drop it for a second.
Well,
So
he's
will the flash counter help that?
I mean, he still moves, right? All he's got to do, the only time he ever has to bring it down is the fraction of a second he needs to punch something to start his healing. Other than that, it stays up indefinitely. So, I mean, could it help him? Probably, but I mean, he rarely brings it down, much less having to bring it down and just.
I didn't know if that would be a thing. I read that and I was like, that seems useful to some people. I'm not going to use it because who counters? Who blocks things? Not I.
Who blocks things?
And let's see. And of course, so we talked about all the changes of weapons and things. Now we're getting more weapon rewards. So for our Nightfall, we're going to have the Lotus Eater, which is a void rocket-assisted sidearm. And in the third column, a void rocket-assisted sidearm, Lotus Eater. Nom, 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 nom. And it's going to roll with, in the third column, Shoot to Loot, Respawn's favorite beacon rounds, Reconstruction, Strategist, Feeding Frenzy, and Repulsor Brace. And the fourth column, Destabilizing Rounds.
There it is.
High Ground, Reverberation, Withering Gaze, Adrenaline Junkie, and One for All.
What's this box weaken? You skipped over that.
That's probably one that this was one that they said they had wrong in the TWAB. So, yeah, so I don't think that's all. I pulled this from, let's see, where did I pull this from? I pulled this from Reddit because they said, hey, Destiny 2 team, we found an issue with yesterday's TWAB, had an update list of perks for the Lotus Eater. The good news, it now has some void focus perks. Here's the updated list. So I used that list. So I think that box weaken whatever is not actually going to roll on it. I didn't know if they updated the TWAB or not, so I pulled it from that list. Yeah, there were a number of these where they're like, hey, this is the wrong list that we had. Here's a new list.
Man, there's a lot of really good rounds. So you have obviously destabilizing Feeding Frenzy. I'm sorry, destabilizing Repulsor Brace. Just especially with all these void changes to these exotics, that's amazing. You have Reconstruction, which is cool. Adrenaline Junkie. Which one does that do?
Increase damage and handling from final blows with grenades or this weapon.
Oh, okay. So that would go pretty good with the Reconstruction, I guess. Reverberation. Reverberation. Hold on. Let me think. I think that's one Destiny 2. Yeah. I think this is the one I'm thinking.
Final blows increase the size of its detonation. Reverberation is basically bigger blast radius. So weapon kills grant 100 blast radius for 5.5 seconds.
So, Reconstruction One for All, I guess, would be the other role. But for sure, Repulsor Brace destabilizing 100,000 million billion %. And that's Vanguard Ops? No, that ain't. That's Nightfall. Okay. Oh, so we can get an adept version. Oh.
Yeah, presumably, that'll be one of the adepts you can get. And there's just a bushel. I meant to mention, these are Nightfall weapons. Beautiful void assisted rocket sidearm. What's not to love? And then everyone's excited for the 900th time. The palindrome's back, guys. Remember the palindrome? It's an arc adaptive hand cannon that you definitely have never seen before. Brand new to the game. So the palindrome's coming back. Its third column is going to have closing time, elemental capacitor, explosive payload, redacted, outlaw, and to the pain. And the fourth column, magnificent howl, snapshot sights, master of arms, opening shot, redacted, and desperate measures. So the third column, I look at and I go, yep, those are words. But that fourth column, I mean, magnificent howl, master of arms, opening shot, the snapshot sight, there's things there that should make PvP people very happy.
Yeah.
Those are PvP words.
Yep.
I mean, outlaw. I feel like to the pain is a good PvP perk. I don't know. This is where I go. Those are things that sound familiar. Yeah. So palindrome's coming back. It'll have a different set of perks that is different than when it was back last time, presumably, and some new perk in each slot that they aren't going to tell us yet. And now Vanguard Ops, it's getting a new rocket launcher. And this is another one that, hey, we published a list of perks, but it was wrong. So here's a new list of perks. And I think it was just one that they had incorrect. But the Cynosure, Cynosure, it's a strand aggressive rocket launcher. Cynosure, who knows how to say these words? I don't. In your third column, it's going to have Reconstruction, Envious Arsenal, Slice, Demolitionist, Field Prep, Tracking Module, Sympathetic Arsenal, Impulse Amplifier, Ambitious Assassin, Clown Cartridge, Danger Zone, and Overflow. And that's just a bushel of things. And I think this is the one they originally wrote was going to have Discord in the third column, but it does not. That's the one. So if you saw Discord somewhere, it's actually Clown Cartridge. So that's the one that they misprinted originally. And in the fourth column, Chain Reaction, Explosive Light, redacted, Bipod, Cluster Bomb, Quick Draw, Lasting Impression, Adrenaline Junkie, Reverberation, Desperate Measures, High Ground, and Hatchling.
Hey.
So Respawn, did they just say every perk? Or are they just like, here's every perk? If you're going to play Vanguard Ops, here's every perk we're going to throw into this gun. Good luck.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know what you're going for. I think you just play Vanguard Ops and go, oh, look, a new strand rocket launcher dropped, and now it's got things on it. Maybe one of these things will be good with another thing. It's got some sort of new perk in the fourth column, so maybe that'll be something new. Something good. Who knows? Let's see. Will this bring people to Gambit? Let's find out. Because we're going to have the Back Fang, which sounds like a condition you should have looked at immediately. So the Back Fang is an arc rapid fire glaive.
Sorry. It sounds like you said a rapid fire glaive.
I surely did. I did use the words rapid fire glaive.
What the hell?
That's a great question. I don't know. They don't know. Nobody knows.
Okay. Hey guys, a rapid fire glaive. A rapid fire melee weapon. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it shoots fast, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Let me just make
and
sure.
Yes, I know, guys, there's a projectile that it shoots out, but still, I mean, like, if you're using a glaive, I mean, you're using a glaive to hit things with, right? Yes, it can shoot, but that is not your primary function of the glaive, But
yeah. I mean, and they are doing, they are improving the projectile hit registration. The increased aim assist, aim magnetism, damage fall off ranges across the board. They made all of these, buffed magazine size, projectile speed, reload speed, all these things with the glaive. So they're like, hey, we make glaives better. So let's see if the rapid fire glaive is one you're going to want. So
beacon rounds. It's a glaive with beacon rounds.
Yes. Yeah. So in the third column, you can get impulse amplifier, beacon rounds, redacted, grave robber, immovable object, tilting at windmills, shot swap, steady hands, replenishing aegis, field prep, lead from gold, and mulligan. And in the fourth column, you can get redacted, volt shot, swashbuckler, surrounded, unrelenting, wellspring, vorpal weapon, unstoppable force, close to melee, desperate measures, adagio, and adrenaline junkie. So if you are to get a rapid fire glaive, and for that to be a thing, what would you like?
Well, there's a bunch of builds out there. Like, okay, so if you're using it strictly for the melee, you're going to want Surrounded and probably Grave Robber or Movable Object. But me personally, I think I want either Grave Robber Volt Shot or Replenishing Aegis Volt Shot. And the Replenishing Aegis is if you block, it will refund your ammo. And the ammo, that should proc Volt Shot, I think. Because that's technically a reload. So you fire off a round, you block, now you've got Volt Shot procced. Or you fire off a round, you hit something with Grave Robber, because hitting something with the glaive does proc Grave Robber. So actually, that does sound better. Now that I'm thinking about it, Grave Robber Volt Shot is probably the way to go. You fire off, you hit something, you get the round back, now you've got Volt Shot. Yeah. I'm thinking that's the way to go, probably.
Yeah. I had to look up the replenishing one, and then tilting at windmills. That's one that Winterbite had. Blocking damage with your shield increases movement speed while shielding. Okay, yeah, so that's could be useful again if you're doing these like solo GM runs or something and using the glaive for that. But yeah,
Tilting at windmills with Surrounded, maybe.
yeah.
But no, I
that's
definitely
what I had to look up because I didn't know what that one was because it's on the glaive.
Joker's Longsword. Man, I wish that's what the name was, but it's not.
I know.
Probably copyright infringement.
Yeah. So our Crucible weapon is going to be the Joxer's Longsword. So it's our Void Heavy Burst Pulse Rifle, which I think is that the one Nitedemon talked about earlier that we've already listed all the perks for, so we won't do that again.
Yeah, the Redrix Broadsword, but different.
Yeah,
but no, but that wasn't the heavy burst. No, because Redrix Broadsword wasn't a heavy burst. No,
right. Oh, right. Yeah, because that was the other. I wish they would give these things more. Yeah. Oh, right. That was the Redrix S-Stock. Was our Stasis PR-55 frame pulse rifle. So yeah, this is our Joxer's Longsword. So we've left the Redrix family and we're now in the Joxer family.
Yeah, we didn't want the broadsword. Now we have a longsword.
Yeah, and I'm sure somebody will tell us who Joxer is and all of their lovely lore because they're a name that I've never heard before. But I'll move those circles. But anyway,
and the heavy burst is the 5-round burst, or is that the 4-round burst? That's 5 rounds, right? Oh, no, heavy burst is the 2-round, I think, because aggressive burst is, I think, the 4-round.
Heavy burst fires a hard-hitting 2-round burst, slightly reduces.
It is 2-round, yeah.
Flinching.
Okay.
Yeah. That's okay. Yeah, so that's the one like the Aisha's. Yeah, so the Aisha's Care Pulse Rifle. Yeah. So 2-round burst and reduces reduces flinching. Yeah, so that's the one. That's sort of like the Bolt Endings hand cannon, the new Warden's Law rework. That's heavy burst. Your empirical evidence. But yeah, basically it'll be like your Aisha's Care from the trials. So if you're like, what is that one?
And this is what Void. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's also the same one as Courageon. So the Courageon Pulse Rifle, it's the same heavy burst archetype.
This gets rewind on it, but it also gets Lone Wolf in the same column. Oh,
gotta make decisions. So yeah, your third column was going to have Closing Time, Demolitionist, Dragonfly, Killing Wind, Gutshot Straight, Lone Wolf, Pugilist, Enlightened Action, Rewind Rounds, Repulsor Brace, Strategist, and Shoot to Loot. And your fourth column is going to have Adrenaline Junkie, Desperado, Desperate Measures, Destabilizing Rounds, Withering Gaze, Headseeker, Iron Pack Reserves, Under Pressure, One for All, Swashbuckler, Redacted, and Zen Moment.
Goodness gracious.
This one, I mean, obviously, it comes from Crucible. I was going to say, it feels like a PvP weapon. Of course it does. That's where it lives.
That Lone Wolf Desperado looks kind of snazzy, actually.
Yeah.
Lone Wolf Headseeker. Oh, Lone Wolf Headseeker.
Yeah, and I feel like if Gutshot Straight's what I remember it being, for those of us less good, Gutshot Straight Headseeker. I mean, really Headseeker in anything, honestly.
Gutshot Straight, I don't think it's going to be good for this because it's only a 2-round burst, so it's not going to ride up as much. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. I couldn't remember what exactly that perk was, but yeah, you're so right.
I got to say, like, obviously the PvE in me wants the Repulsor Brace destabilizing, which is definitely something I would play PvP for. Yeah. But that rewind with, high impact reserves, Under Pressure, Desperado. I wonder if Rewind would proc Desperado. Because it's technically a reload, right? No, Desperado's a reload after a kill, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I have to look it up. I don't remember.
Yeah, no, Desperado's
Yeah.
if you get a precision kill and you reload, then it procs that. Okay, so forget that one. But Rewind and probably High Impact Reserves are under pressure because both of those are the bottom half of the magazine, and since you'll be hitting the bottom half of the magazine quite a bit with Rewind, ooh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, there's some
And
good
then the
options
Lone
there.
Wolf. You can't ignore the Lone Wolf either. That's really good stuff.
I would never. Yeah,
Lone Wolf Desperado or
these heavies.
Lone Wolf Withering Gaze. What's Withering Gaze do?
Withering Gaze, I feel like is like the weakening.
Yeah, it's like box
That's what I
breathing, right?
always have to look up.
You know it's box breathing. You sight in for a second, and when you hit an enemy, you weaken. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought it was like a mini tractor cannon.
Yeah.
Not nearly as good, but yeah. There's some good options.
Damn, I'm gonna have to play
these
some
loot
Crucible
pools
now.
Yeah, these perk pools are just massive on all of these. They're really just like, come on, here's 1,000 things. Keep rolling them.
But you know the biggest problem with these guns, Peroty?
What's that?
I got nowhere to put them, brother.
You really don't nowhere to put them all, and I guess you will be able to. You'll be able to focus them, but again, that doesn't really solve your problem of going. But I'm trying to get the roll I want. Dear bunch, let me focus and give me a better chance at certain rolls.
Well, but forget focusing. Let me craft it. That way I don't have to keep it in my vault. I'll just build it when I want it.
Right. Let me craft one that I can switch around when I want to.
Bungie you still got to farm for the 5 red borders, right? So, people would still have to play your activity to farm for it. So, let us farm for the red borders, get the red borders, and then not have to use up vault space for yet another gun that we don't have space for. Why take our crafting away? Dumb.
Yeah. These are tasty, but I need a place to put them.
Yeah.
Or just, actually bring back sunsetting and force me to get rid of things after a certain amount of time. Again,
you say that.
We've talked so many times about, give me the trophy room, give me the place to put my beloved weapons, and then you can run, a twist on that. Give me the trophy room to put my beloved weapons that I earned back 18 seasons ago, and then give me a Legends event. Give me a Legends PvP event. Give me, a Legends PvE event where I can bring out those old weapons from the vault, from not our vault, but from, the trophy case. And let me blow the dust off this old, formerly sunset weapon. Let me bring it out for this particular set of events, or let me bring it out for this event in PvP or whatever. Let me use it there. Give me a place to use the old stuff, but don't make me keep it in my vault, taking up my precious space for things I want to use day to day.
Have we beaten that horse enough? Hey, Bungie, more vault space. How about now? Hey, Bungie, more vault space. How about now?
I think the horse has been properly beaten. What hasn't been beaten though is you need to get your weapons before they leave, or they'll be gone, and then you can't get your weapons anymore. So as you hear this, you should be right now in the Iron Banner. If you're not there, drop everything, leave your job, go to the Iron Banner. Because if you'd like to have a lethal abundance auto rifle or a Reese Walker shotgun, this is your last week as we record. Like right now, January 23rd is your last week. So basically, by the time you're hearing this, if it's like Tuesday or Wednesday, if you've already watched the developer live stream, you've already missed them. They're gone. Unless you have 17 from the past, but they're gone. Now, next weekend, when Trials comes back, it'll be your last chance at the Prophet, which I think is the Scout Rifle, he says mostly confidently.
I think you're right. I think the Prophet is the Scout Rifle.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. The Prophet Scout Rifle from Trial. So next weekend will be your last weekend to earn the Prophet, Adept or otherwise, last weekend, and your Nightfall. So the Undercurrent. So the Waveframe grenade launcher.
Yes.
That'll be your last week to get that one. So if you're trying to get a roll of that, that'll be your last weekend, and then that goes away into the vault.
And I believe that one rolls with Volt Shot on a grenade launcher, so you might want to pick that one up.
That could be good fun. Yep.
It's very good fun.
Yeah, so those are your last week. So this week for your Iron Banner stuff, Trials of Nightfall, Undercurrent, and the Prophet, those are going away out of the weapon pool until they bring them back sometime in the future. Hey guys, Game to Give is going on. If you haven't noticed, it's happening. We talked about all the things last week. It's still happening. So go to your favorite streamer, give them money on their link. It goes to charity. You can get your lovely cell shaded things, or not, or any of those emblems of like Highland cows that you missed in the past. We talked about that in depth last week. It's going on. You know where to go at this point. If you've been anywhere near any Destiny media, you're seeing people stream. You know it's happening. Los Angeles is on fire, which is bad, and Bungie has shirts.
Well, not anymore. Good. They did put it out, but yes, for the people that were affected, they're selling the shirts to help with the charities.
Yeah. So just like in the past, they said, "Hey, fire is bad. Shirts are good because charity is good, and people lost lots of things, so need money. So the money from this is going to the LA Community California Fire Foundation and Direct Relief. The organization Bungie Foundation works with for all of these disasters and things. In collaboration with Bungie's Eric Littlejohn, Marketing Associate Creative Director, and the Destiny 2 Icons team, they were launching the shirt and emblem bundle on the Game to Give campaign page, available for pre-order today. So this is a shirt and emblem bundle this time. And they say because it's a pre-order, we don't know yet the exact profit per order due to manufacturer variable costs. However, we're committing to making a minimum donation of at least $15 per order, split equally between the two organizations. The bundle will be available for $50, including the shirt, emblem, and shipping anywhere worldwide. The bundle will be available for pre-order through Sunday, February 9th. Details will be shared, once they're available. So pre-order it now. They'll ship it to you sometime. Usually these things take a month or 2 or 3 to come out because they have to order them and get them to you. But $50 gives you the shirt, the emblem, and then shipping to anywhere in the world. And there's artwork, and there's emblems, and they match. So that's available till the 9th. And the latest Bungie reward is here. So Barons have been slayed, Guardians have risen victorious, and they're about to commemorate our dominion over Fickrell and his scorn with something extremely cool to hang on your wall. The latest Bungie reward Displate is available at the Bungie store, and you can unlock it by claiming the Risen and Fallen triumph by completing quests in all acts of episode Revenant. So it's basically that same like Fickrell artwork with the bats overhead, the background's all red, and then the scorn sort of in greeny brownish in the foreground. It's basically the image from this current act. So if you want to own that in beautiful print and put it on your wall, you can. Or you'll go, yep, that's the thing I can have, and then keep scrolling. So a whole bunch more people won Scorgan emblems for playing tunes on the Scorgan. If you want to do that, tell Bungie about it with hashtag Destiny2 Scorgan, and they're handing out a bunch of Movie of the Week and Music of Mercury emblems. People have played the Top Gun anthem, the Futurama theme song, Game of Thrones theme. There's a whole list in the TWAB if you want to go look and, more importantly, listen to these people. Thunderstruck's on there. Lots of things. So people have made many, many beautiful things on the Scorgan. So you can go enjoy all of those linked in the TWAB. We're not going to read them all. As always, and there's new emblems. Your Artist of the Week, your Prismatic Vaporware emblem, and your Movie of the Week is going to have the Artifacting Signal emblem, which both look really cool. Have a real 80s sort of glitch vibe to them. I will be receiving none of them as I am neither artistic nor musical. But here we are. Maybe you will. I believe in you. You can do this. We had an update this week, because of course we did, because it wouldn't be a week without updates. 8.1.5.4 dropped, and it fixed some things. So we'll just squish this into the TWAB that's never going to end anyway. So in the last city, they fixed an issue where Aramis and Mithrax remained in their pre-Act 3 conclusion states after completing it.
Nice.
So presumably they've been, actually freed from their imprisonment, because we did that in the story, but then not really. In Onslaught Salvation, they fixed an issue where the operable turret would disappear if a player was teleported to join allies while sitting in it. I think you should just brought the turret with you. That should be your gift. In the Tomb/Contest of Elders, they fixed an issue where the servitor would sometimes flicker while judging the players. So no more flickering servitors. In the Kel's Fall exotic mission, they fixed an issue where only one player would receive progress toward the Slayer's Fang exotic catalyst when destroying
I
the
remember
illusionary anchors.
That's so jacked up.
And they fixed an issue where the Slayer's Fang catalyst quest would not properly progress when defeating combatants. So it sounds like the perfect time for me to pick up and start doing those missions.
Oh yeah, for sure.
In your Crucible maps, they fixed an issue on the Crucible map Dead Cliffs where landing zones for both teams were not up to date on control or zone control game modes. And they fixed an issue where the heavy ammo crates would spawn in a non-neutral zone in Dead Cliffs. Just handing the other team, here, have some heavy. Go kill those guys. They deserve it. In Dungeons and Raids, Vesper's Host, let's see what we fixed today. An issue in Master Difficulty where champions could get stuck outside the lockdown room and not teleport in.
Working as intended.
Always. For Titles and Triumphs, they reduced the number of Revenant bosses and defenses required for the Barren Ground and Defender of Innocent triumphs, respectively. They fixed an issue where the Scorgan Melodies triumph sometimes didn't track the played melodies, and an issue where the seasonal challenges required for the Reborn triumph was higher than intended. Ooh, so maybe it'll give Nitedemon a closer to getting where he needs to be, because I know he was fretting about how many he needed to get done. Maybe it's now within reach.
I'd be willing to bet he already did them, despite how many he had to do.
Probably. They fixed
He's
an
got
issue.
children, he outsources destiny.
Someone's got to. They fixed an issue in the Kells Fall exotic mission, which required PlayStation Plus subscriptions to access it on PlayStation. And fixed an issue where the Doki Doki armor set was not properly displayed in your collections.
Uh-oh. How's your set, Peroty?
My set doesn't go in the collection, so it's good.
It doesn't go into collections.
It stays on the loadout and stays right there. We don't put it away. Don't need to pull it back out if you never put it away.
Are you actually wearing the bows?
I was up until Iron Banner. Now I've gone back to the Iron Banner armor. I think the Iron Intent set, the new set, with the graphic shader on it, so it looks like I've been scribbled on by crayon, which is just hideous in all of its beautiful ways. But the Warlock, absolutely still covered in bows. And there were two other, basically earlier in this week, there were two other issues of like, don't put this away. You couldn't abandon your bento box quest because it wouldn't appear in a place to pick it back up again. That's been fixed.
Why would you abandon that quest though? Right.
But if you did, it was just gone and you couldn't pick it back up, but that was fixed earlier this week. And they're aware that the Chatterwhite shader is not appearing in collections. So to get to it, basically go to your weapons or armor, down to your appearance page, go to your shaders, and go all the way to the very last page. And then Chatterwhite's there. All the way to the last. And then you can press the button to make it a favorite to bring it back to the first page, so you won't have to scroll through your 19 pages of shaders ever again. So that's the thing. They fixed all those.
Did you get your Chatterwhite yet?
I did, actually. I completed everything yesterday afternoon in like the hour it took to do enough things to get it done. I picked up my extra quest from Zur and said, well, let me go run a couple of things, and got that done. So now I have it. So it exists.
Somebody was showing me their Chatterwhite. They're like, look, like, you don't have to be all black all the time or whatever, right? And I was like, yeah, but if you're going to be white, you need to be this white. And I put on the Trials of the Nine shader that we had from way back when. And he's like, holy moly, it's hard to look at you. I'm like, right? You're going to be white, be really white. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you can't be blindingly white, then why be anything at all?
That's right. Be annoyingly white.
All right, so those are the things they fixed. And then we have things that are broken that they haven't fixed yet because they don't want to. Your Slayer's Fang stuns overload champions as intended, but it still doesn't prevent them from healing. So that's unintended, but they're going to fix it eventually. Some major fieldworks dialogues are being incorrectly used at the end of some of the missions. So if you're playing with game sound on, you may be hearing weird things. In the Vesper's Host, sometimes the final boss doesn't spawn and players are forced to wipe. Also, some players can't complete Step 7 of the Rogue Network quest, as they cannot interact with or open a second secret chest. And also, in the Vesper's Host, players who are unable to complete also Step 6 of the Rogue Network quest, as they may have already completed the puzzle and just need to claim the collectible. So yeah, Step 6, claim a collectible, see if that works. Step 7, the second secret chest is just not for you. Also, in Vesper's Host, players cannot dunk the nuclear core in the bunker if the Corrupted Puppeteer's white mechanic starts when the core drops. So those are all evergreen issues from week to week. But you can use Shadow Shot now. So win, maybe? Question mark? Maybe they'll fix the rest of those things.
Perhaps.
And then there's Art of the Week and there's movies. And just 12 more days until Heresy, which is why they're giving us a developer live stream this week. And so we did it. Only 6 weeks later, and we made it through all of the PvP updates, all the TWAB. We did it. We made it to the end-ish. A couple of the things just I saw throughout this week. Sneaky Beaver saying, I'm typically very anti-handout with in-game rewards, but the fact that the Salvation Edge's memento has been bugged for 8 months now, I think it's only fair it gets added to the quest with the Drifter so people can at least get one in the meantime.
Oof.
And Destiny 2 team says we're planning a fix and to make good for the Heresy launch. Players who meet the requirement will be included. So it sounds like there is a chance to get those Salvations as mementos if you should have earned one at this point. When Heresy goes live in 12 days, they'll have something for you. And while our TWAB today is filled with, and this is Destiny 2 team again, while the TWAB today is filled to the brim with sandbox changes coming in Heresy, there will be a few more minor changes coming in the patch notes on launch day. We may drop a few hints between now and then. So example, alongside the general tuning for glaives, we've also reduced the delay before the explosion happens on glaive projectile kills when using the Hunter Exotic Triton Vice. I don't know if that excites anybody, but that's a thing that's coming.
That is a thing.
Doesn't sound exciting.
I
Moving
don't
on.
remember what the Triton Vice is before I get excited or not.
Something glaive or explosion related, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, Triton. No, you're right. Yeah, because, it makes our glaive hits stronger, is what it does. But it's not worth using because it's meh.
It's a thing you could do, and you still could do it, and maybe it'll be slightly better.
Mm,
So if you've been fretting about how beautiful your exotic class item looks,
super
but then
Freddy.
it doesn't actually match anything else you're wearing, a new ornament for these class items may be coming in a couple of the weeks. Stay tuned, says DMG. So it's coming. And then you can be beautiful. And now also, Forcer69 just wanted to point out that with each season after Witch Queen, we've had a returning exotic respawn. With Witch, we had the Necrochasm. With Wish, we had the Dragon's Breath. The Final Shape brought us Kvostov. Echoes gave us Red Death. Revenant gave us Icebreaker. Heresy seems to be arc-focused. And there's a certain exotic that it has not returned.
No way.
So I'm not saying the Zalo Supercell's coming back, but I'm saying there's a chance. Or at least he's saying there's a chance, and I'm going to go in with them and go, why not? There's a chance.
Right?
So you're saying there's a chance. Let's see, what other exotic D1 arc weapons are there that they haven't brought back yet? Plan C Fusion Rifle. Patience and Time Sniper. And those are all the ones I have that haven't come back. Because we've got Thunderlord, we've got the Fourth Horseman. So yeah, it's got to be Zalo Supercell. Zalo Supercell confirmed. Let's just call it now. Zalo Supercell coming in Heresy.
Now that you said confirmed, it's going to be the Plan C. Just because you said that.
Yeah, so I did think it was interesting. He's like, hey, with each season we've gotten this weapon coming back, and this seems to be arc focused. So maybe. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, who knows what's coming back? If I would say if anything, but there's got to be something. There's something old. They're going to go, hold on, let's blow the dust off this. We can bring this back, and everybody will love it. It'll be great.
It probably is going to be like the Zalo, most likely. And I know people's going to be like, but why aren't you more excited? Because anytime they bring a weapon back in, like, if they don't change it when they bring it over, right? Let's say, every one that they brought back so far that they haven't changed, they have nerfed very soon afterwards. And that is why I'm upsetty spaghetti about it. Because even if they do bring back the Zalo Supercell, it's probably not going to be as good as it was. But, I have been proven wrong before. Maybe it'll bring it back the exact same. Maybe they might make it better in some way. Who knows? I hope I'm wrong. But I am tentatively disappointed until I see otherwise.
Yeah. Let me just preemptively be disappointed, and then if it's good, I can be excited.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
If it comes out and it's great, great. I'm happy.
We're
But
we're flipping the hype train on its head.
exactly.
We're gonna not be hyped and then be surprised if it's good, and then it'll be beautiful. And if not, then it'll just be what it is, and it'll all be okay. Now, there's a couple. I know Demon said before he had to go off to the forests of Britain that he didn't have any videos. I'm going to assume Respawn, you have no videos because who's even making videos at this point?
Yep.
So there's just a handful I have. I'm going to toss in here at the end. The first one is Bife's computer is back to working again, so he was able to give us Destiny 2 lore, Revenant's Act 3 stories, finale, and recap with thoughts why it feels bizarre. So maybe he'll tell us who Joxer is, or maybe that's coming soon. Also, Chonk would like to tell you that Vault Space is not the problem, Respawn. You are.
Yeah, I don't like whoever this guy is.
Yeah, see, you're the problem. So just stop being the problem. Dado has a video out that, again, Dado doesn't need any more people going to him. He already has 1.21 million subscribers. You know Dado at this point. But he did have a what's it like being a new Destiny 2 player in 2025. And he sat down with a friend of his who, is a gamer but plays, plays on the Switch and plays other, other kinds of games that aren't necessarily
Switch.
Yeah, plays the Nintendo Switch.
I get it. Just can you play on the Switch?
Well, no. I mean, he does not play Destiny on the Switch. He plays other games. He's a gamer who plays and I think streams, but doesn't play shooters. So it's someone who is not much of a first person shooter player, but who is plenty familiar with games, obviously, and how to play games, because there's a difference between being like, I don't play games at all. People do those videos of like sitting down with a non-gamer and they just struggle with the basic controls of things. So it's like someone who doesn't play shooters, that he's sitting down with Dado, obviously, and Dado's holding his hand, going through things, and says hey, we're talking this whole time, and we're sort of running him through this initial new light experience. But Dado's sort of just like, lets him have at it, and is like, hey, sit down and play this game, and does it explain things to you. And just still in 2025, how sort of poor the new light experience is, because it's like, hey, we're going to give you this weapon, figure it out. We're going to give you this thing. We're not going to tell you how to use it, how to switch to it. Basically, make you go to the internet to understand just the basics of playing this game, and just pointing out how you go pick up a different game. And there's a tutorial that really walks you through. Hit this button here. That's what this is. At one point, it's like, hey, use your super. But it doesn't tell you what or why you would care about it, or what the super even is, which, may seem blindingly obvious. But if it's your first time in a game, you're like, well, what is this? And how do I use it? And why would I care about it? So just, that's sort of his version of the, Dado's like, I don't want to start a new character. I've done all these things a billion times, but here's the day one new light experience for someone trying to sit down and play this game for the first time, which is, again, just an evergreen, do better if you want new players. And then something, again, we sort of touched on, honestly, in the last couple months and today, it's Tizzle has a video, The Toxic Mindset That Is Killing AAA Gaming, of basically talking about how, you have to make a game for someone. You have to say, I want to make this game, and it's going to be a game for the, for the try-hard end-game players. It's going to be a game, or it's going to be a casual game, and you're going to pick it up and hang out with your friends and put it back down again. You sort of have to pick a lane and kind of like pick an audience on like who you want this game to be for, and sort of tracks how, obviously, he's a Destiny 2 player, so he uses Destiny 2 mainly as his example of, here's where Destiny used to be, and here's sort of as they've made it more of a casual game experience, that'll appeal to some people and drive other people away. But you sort of have to pick a lane and say who the game is for without going, it's for everybody. Because if it's for everybody, it's kind of for nobody. You're sort of, doing everything kind of well, but you're not really serving anybody really well. So this is the longer one. This is like 53 minutes, but he really sits down and talks about, sort of the decline of Destiny in this context, and in some of the things they talked about, sort of how they approached making the game and how it sort of got us to where we are. So as if, 18 hours of podcast wasn't enough, there's more video you can go watch and enjoy. And you know who watches and enjoys every week, all the time?
You.
Respawn watches and enjoy. I enjoy. You enjoy. Nitedemon enjoys. Our patrons enjoy.
I knew it.
Zep Orbit enjoys every week. The man, you can't threaten him with a good time. He enjoys everything. He enjoys the threats. You know who also enjoys the threats with rolled R's? Who doesn't get rolled R's? Because Respawn's dead and Nidemon's gone?
Renard Galant.
Ooh, say it again.
Renard Galant.
Ooh, delicious. Can't threaten him with a good time. Rolled R's or not. The Outer Dance Troupe of the Scarlet Cam and Dedicated M64. Beautiful dancers. And our grenade throwers of Feral, Golden God 1562, Noble, Basically Assault, Fire Squad 1688, and Custom 105. Phenomenal, absolutely incredible dancers and grenade throwers. And Deacon's Day 1 Raid team of Dimwee, Gravy Jeff, and Peepee Pipe. And now I have the terrible thought that I have neglected to add someone to the list. So please hold for station identification. Yes, we have an additional grenade thrower. Let me see if you have a name that is not your name. We're going to guess it's the man Conan TX1986. I'm going to guess that's you. Thank you, lovely human being that you are. That's the new Discord name that Patreon says, hey, this is your human. And yeah. So wonderful. Perfect. Thank you for joining us. And I'm going to add you to the list so I can pretend to be halfway professional with this. Just like I am when I say thank you for joining us. Your Titans, your Peroty, and Nitedemon. Your hunter is no one responds in real life. You should find this show wherever you get your podcasts. You should go to YouTube to find all the videos about Nidedemon's best guess of the week on what's coming up next, what shaders you should buy, and what's available in the Eververse store to look and feel even more beautiful. And to think, where am I going to put this? You can email the show to dungeonsandhunter@hotmail.com. Again, follow us on YouTube. Every new episode, weekly update, live stream, it's all going to be there. TwoTitansandAHunter.com, or for all your show notes, all the videos we talk about, sites we link to, all that stuff, it all lives there. If you want to join the Patreon, patreon.com/TTAH, and we too will add you to our lovely list of humans who we appreciate each and every week. And you get the special spot in the Discord where we say, look, humans, they're lovely. We put the nice here in the nice little vessel so we can look at them, and you know, like the gods from Olympus down on high, just looking down upon them and saying, thank you, we appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to toss a coffee our way, coffee.com/TwoTitansandAHunter. And when Respawn is not in the rural Virginia wastelands, twitch.tv/no-one-responds in real life. And every once in a blue moon, twitch.tv/TwoTitansandAHunter. But we're not streamers or YouTubers. We're just kind of YouTubers. A little bit. Mm-hmm. Just a touch. And yeah, until next week, tell the people goodbye. And maybe we'll have 16 more hours of content for them.
Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.
We don't stand a chance of making this show any less than 2 hours.
Which is why we're actually just going to load it all into Notebook LM and have them read it and then call it a day. We're good.
Yeah, I mean, Oliver here, he's gonna kick things off. Let's see what Oliver says. Oh, Oliver, come on, mate.
Don't be shy.
Right, start there, Oliver.
They want to move Trials away from a flawless base system to a get 7 wins on a card system that rewards win streaks.
How do you think about Oliver? What do you reckon of Oliver? Do you think he replaces me?
No.
No, he doesn't quite have the same, not quite the same accent. No, do that again, but rap it.
Rap it? All right, here we go.
Respawn song.
They call me Telesto, say it with Chesto. My zest for stress, test just coalesced. Conquest is blessed, will soon be repressed. Suggest you rest if you're feeling distressed. You're in a quest for the festo, at my behest. As long as you express, I'm the absolute error. Boom.
Perfect.
Dropping the mic. Blah.
Perfect.